Ready to cool efficiently when hot weather hits. Stay cool and comfortable with air conditioning services from Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111 to schedule your AC check. Bryant, whatever it takes.
At DWE Generations, having a plan matters, especially when it comes to protecting what's most important. They work with individuals, families, and business owners to help make smart financial decisions that support life today and set the foundation for generations. David Darlington, Russell Walton, and Cody Eiler bring decades of experience, and their dedicated team provides follow-through, answering questions, explaining next steps, and staying connected as life evolves. DWE Generations, a generational wealth planning firm. DWE Generations is a marketing name for individuals doing business as representatives of Northwestern Mutual. Visit generations.nm.com or call 402-483-7871 and ask for David, Russell, or Cody.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement. There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all of the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln, this is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln, Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Coy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped and picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black Shirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Hour one of Old School is sponsored by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Yes, indeed. Welcome into a Thirsty Thursday edition of the show. Austin Orman here, joined once again by the main man, the co-host, Jay Foreman. Jay, welcome back. It is not a Wednesday. It's a Thursday. You had your day off yesterday. How'd it treat you?
I didn't know what to do with myself, man. So I did a whole bunch of nothing. I kind of was thrown off a little bit, but it's all good.
Stayed out of trouble, obviously. You're here today.
Yeah.
Or made the right kind of trouble.
Or the trouble ain't hit yet.
Hey, well, I'm going to give you credit for staying out of trouble.
Yeah.
Whether I should or not. We are going to stay off the radio for the majority of this show. Just stream only for you with the Kansas City Royals on the airwaves right now. They are down 5-2 in the early going. One out in the top of the third right now. Noah Cameron got roughed up the last couple of innings on the bump for the Royals. Still a long way to go, though, on getaway day. Royals fall last night, final score of 5-2. Plenty to get to on today's show. We'll lead off with some NBA tanking reform. Nebraska baseball and softball are getting new clubhouses, which is pretty cool. I'm a little confused as to where the money's coming from, but I do like seeing Troy Dannon and North Stadium generally reward success from programs like that. Thirsty Thursday comes your way at 4 o'clock like normal. We'll play some free agency matchmaker in the NFL. A lot of big names still out there on the market. And now that the draft is gone, who are some of those names that we think could come off the board, who could be in need of their services? What's the right price point and more? 402-464-5685. Eric is in. Eric, appreciate you chiming in as always. You were pretty good on trough talk before, the trough texts. I'm going to avoid that subject, though, for the rest of the show. Enough about the Memorial Stadium troughs for a lifetime. People are obsessed with those things, Jay.
They're going to go for big prices.
Why?
I don't know.
We can leave it there. I spent too much time talking about those dang
Yeah,
things.
I don't know.
So,
I mean, it's just part of the stadium, man. It's just, I mean, I guess I get it, man. I mean, it's a hot topic, man. I mean, my uncle, he's a huge Husker fan. I mean, there's not a recruit that he don't ask me about or tells me about or who should go to Nebraska. You know what I'm saying?
And you're like, Unc, it's a state secret. I can't tell you.
Oh, I don't make any decisions, but he's well in tune to all I think he has every subscription and then subscription that's out there. And he was even talking to me about it for about a good 45 minutes.
Whew.
He's like, well, man, he's like, hey, it's just like Buffalo. They need a new stadium. You guys are like the Buffalo Bills. Hey, you've been in both places, right? I mean, it's the whole thing. It's kind of funny.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Not incredible. The state of the NBA and tanking right now. To the point that Adam Silver and the NBA offices are continuing to come up with more and more versions of NBA draft reform. The most recent one, Jay, is recently in the hands of all 30 general managers. This is just all from Shams Charania. It'll expand the draft lottery to 16 teams, flatten out the odds, and have a relegation zone where the bottom 3 teams are penalized with fewer lottery balls for the number 1 overall pick. The 3-2-1 proposal, named to represent the number of lottery balls per team, would expand the lottery from 14 to 16 teams. Teams that do not qualify for the playoffs or the play-in tournament but stay out of the relegation zone would receive 3 lottery balls each. So that's spots number 4 through 10. Teams with a bottom 3 record, the relegation zone, would have just 2 lottery balls but not able to fall further than 12th. And then the 9th and 10th play-in seeds in each conference get 2 lottery balls, and the losers of 7 and 8 receive 1 lottery ball. So in simpler terms, the worst, second worst, and third worst records in the NBA would have a 5.4% chance at the first pick, down 9% essentially from their current odds at 14%. So your 3 worst teams, your 3 worst records, have their odds at winning the number 1 overall pick basically cut by 2/3.
That's crazy.
Team number 4 goes from a 12.5% chance right now to an 8.1% chance. Team number 5, 10.5 to 8.1. Team number 6, 9 to 8. So very little change. 7th gets a slight bump from 7 and change to 8.1. 8th goes from 6% to 8.1. 9th goes from 4.5% chance to 8.1. 10th worst from 3% to 8.1. And then it really spikes. Right now, the number 10 seeds and the number 9 seeds in each conference would have the exact same odds as the 3 teams with the worst records at 5.4%. And then the losers of the 7 and 8 play-in games would also get the lowest odds, but still 1 ping pong ball in this formula.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a lot.
It's commendable that they're doing something about it, right? And so I like it that they put some action behind their words. They've heard the people. They've seen it. It doesn't look good.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing, my takeaway is that let's eliminate all excuses for you guys not to watch our product with some of our greatest players. And obviously in this day and time, and hopefully it motivates teams to go out there and play. And I do understand. Look, the benefit of LeBron James going to Cleveland, or David Robinson and Tim Duncan going to San Antonio,
Patrick Ewing to New York.
Yeah, I mean, there's benefits to tanking. I mean, you cannot sit here and keep your head in the sand and be like, why wouldn't it? But when I guess it gets egregious or so noticeable that it becomes a problem, I guess you have to put some guardrails around it and motivate, especially when you start tanking like at the halfway part or halfway point in the season.
Mm-hmm.
That's maybe the biggest thing is that's been so clear that teams are like, all right, second week of the season, hey, your season's over. Yeah. And look, you got to protect the brand. It's an arms race now to see who can be in that second spot behind the NFL. Mm-hmm. And negative PR, they've been actionary, as far as going, like, trying to fix the All-Star game. That was better this year. It might not be perfect. There's always going to be complaining about load management and people so-called tanking. Mm-hmm. But when you are making moves and putting action behind words, and when you're hearing people and you're listening more than hearing, They've done a lot of hearing before. Now they're listening. And once they've listened, they say, okay, well, let's try this. And let's try to, make them maybe skirt the rules a different way.
Yeah.
So then maybe we can catch them. You know what I mean? So, I'm all for it. If I'm a player, a coach, a GM, I hate being in that spot. I wish they were just a little bit more competitive. You know what I'm saying? And not all teams are competitive. I mean, if you haven't paid attention and listened to some of the, or listened to some of the audio, read some of the quotes from the new Portland Trailblazers owner. I mean, that's like Adam Silver. It's great that you're doing this. It's great that you stepped in a couple times with different owners. That guy needs to be gone. Straight up.
Only wants to pay coach $1 million, which is maybe half of the normal.
That's less than half. That's tanking.
Straight up.
That's straight up. That's just what I said. Let's try to find another way to catch him. This is it. Yeah. Okay, fine. We'll have a good roster. We'll just give you an in-app coach.
Right.
You're going to look. Now we're losing. They're playing. We're losing. So we still get the number 1 pick in Portland. Right.
Greg Oden again.
Yeah. Sam Bowie and all them dudes.
Right.
And, you're lucky you had Clyde the Glide. And, but I don't think there's any way around it. I think it's like, I guess my analogy is when kids start to, drive and they're 16, look, these are the rules. You'll find a way to, be a little bit late, but we're going to make sure that we're going to have some ramifications when you are.
From Adam Silver on the competition committee call, per Shams your sources, he said, we should have a system where you should hate to lose. It shouldn't be a badge of honor. Losing should be uncomfortable. Not a place the NBA has been for a while. And then Shams adds his own commentary. Many league executives understand this flattening of the odds and widening of the pool may be an overcorrection, but one that the majority believes is necessary. Matt Moore on Twitter, Hardwood Paroxysm, does a lot of writing for Locked On and Action Network, says, no, we don't want to, take away help from the worst teams. But right now it feels like we have to, because teams have taken tanking to this absurdly stupid place. That's the consequence. It sucks. And then someone replied, people don't want to screw the bad teams, but you have to choose between 3 naturally bad teams, talent deficient teams, and 7 teams that are strategically bad. Both have downsides and benefits to it. It's about if you want fewer bad games or more help for bad teams. Both flawed options, but you end up picking a poison. Right now, the bad teams have gotten a lot of help, and in recent years, right? In the straight reverse standings order, drafting can be as bad as you want, accumulate as much talent as you want. It's led to some sustained tanking with no real emphasis placed on actually getting better. There are some organizations that are finally trying to right the ship, but have just been hosed by incompetent management, bad trades, bad ideas for so long, which are the teams that I think the NBA is saying, okay, we tried to throw you a bone. We tried to give you the top talent. It's not on us to tell you how to run your organization, but clearly what you're doing isn't working. So get smarter and figure it out.
2 things. I'd almost rather the NBA just say, you know what, look, we're not even going to, you tank if you want. We are going to pick where the number 1 pick is going to go. I'd rather you just do that.
Ooh.
Because if I'm trying to, here's why. Because the free agents and the teams are the teams. They know that, like, in that NBA billionaire room that they get in, or like Adam Silver, he knows when he has a Rolodex of owners and GM, he knows who's trying to win. So they're always going to be in there. But if you're really, I know what you're trying to do, right? You're not, we've given you guys bones. Now we got to come in more hands-on. Well, then come in hands-on. Okay. Well, you know what, Devonsa, this is where you're going, because that's what they did. Look, if you really think Patrick Ewing going to the Knicks wasn't just a sign from God or was a sign from God, it didn't happen. Or not only did the San Antonio Spurs get David Robinson, the Admiral, and Tim Duncan, number 1. Do you think that just magically happened on a lottery? You think LeBron James, even though he got a little bit tired legs, man, listen, you got to get a couple bottles of wine from Myers Cork and Bottle. We can send it overnight. We'll talk to Kevin about getting it to you, because red wine helps bring your legs back. going to Cleveland wasn't predetermined. So let's just stop playing games and let them go there and put them there.
Yeah.
And then put some stipulation. Heck, I'll be almost to the point like, listen, we'll come in, we'll get you actually a viable GM. Heck, he can zoom in and teach these guys how to do it. The NBA is in a huge problem because not only you're worried, tanking is always been part of the NBA. Because as soon as the draft's over, you see, just like football, you see the 27 draft. So we've been hearing about this 27 quarterback class in the NFL for like 2 years. Actually, it was supposed to be 26. They all played like crap, so now it goes to 27. Here's where the NBA's problem is. It's not only tanking. That's on one side. So the tanking affects the play, right? That affects the rating, right? Then you got on the player side, they want to get paid more and they want to work less. So essentially, Adam Silver is in the middle, getting punched in both sides of the face, and wonder why he has two.
Turn the other cheek, doesn't have a chance
turn
to
the
turn.
other cheek, and boom, there you go. Turn the other, boom, right there, right, and then you try to go forward, get socked there too. You got to go backwards, slapped upside the head,
kidney punch.
So this is just it's just the same problem, diced up one way versus the other, and so why my vision or my I guess response or what I would be doing. Okay, listen, neither one of you guys are helping me. Or the players, management, owners. Okay, so then I'll just start making the decisions. Then
I'll play God.
Right, until you want to
be serious.
Be serious.
Would you take the players' opinions into account at all?
I sure would.
Like three guys I put on stream: Boozer, DeBonza, and Peterson. This isn't going to be in effect for them. But would you have them do visits with like all 30 teams or, the top 15 teams there and say, hey, give us your top 5. We'll do our best to place you.
Right.
Would you talk to the teams and pick their preference too?
Yeah.
Or
you know where that would be? My office.
League office. Yeah.
You're up. We're going to, and you know what? We'll fly you in, get you a nice steak and lobster, get you the suite up there. So you're just feeling real good. And you know what? You're not going to get up in the morning like the combine. We'll get you up. We get you nice and refreshed.
Yep.
All that. Send you to the spa or do whatever. But when you come in here, we're going to find out because not only are the players like interviewing the potential places that they're going, so owners and coaches and all that. You want to make sure the fit is the other way too.
Yeah.
Right. And also you could get in there and really, maybe you would have found out some stuff about John Morant and Zion sitting there with Adam Silver for an extended period of time versus, when you're at the draft and you see him and you do a couple photo ops and you get everybody's on the best behavior. You know what I'm saying? I was on my best behavior every time I went to the principal's office, but I got to the principal's office. So that's what I would do.
But I think there's an interesting way to go about that too, because it's not like you're abolishing the draft entirely.
No.
Because if you turned it into just open free agency, where these players are going to go. You'd have to find
LA and all that. Yeah.
Right. Most likely. And I think that's a little bit dangerous. But I think, as painstaking and time, consuming as it would be for the league, I think there's a path there. How far would you go? Would you go through the regular 14-team lottery to do this? The 16 teams proposed? Would you do the first round and then place all these prospects? How far would you carry this out?
I'll go through the lottery.
Okay.
I'll go through the lottery.
So start the draft at pick either 15 or 17?
Yeah. I'll go through the lottery. And maybe that'll allow them to scout these other guys a little bit more, and really make some good viable picks. Look, I'm a Timberwolves fan. I've been a Timberwolves fan back when they had Randy Brewer and all them dudes, right?
Not Corey Brewer, Randy
Brewer. And hey, my man Kevin Lynch. You remember me, Kevin Lynch. You remember me coming down the lane, slam, bam, alakazam. Who was this dude? I'm him. But the Michael Olowokandi, if you could have got a little bit more, detailed on him, intel, maybe for him and the Timberwolves, it works out a little bit better. Maybe you would have figured out Kevin Garnett and Wally Zerbiak where it would have been like, was it oil and water?
Yeah. Incompatible.
Incompatible from the very beginning. And, Wally Zerbiak was in the right, but you would have just figured that out.
Right.
Right. And then, you would have been able, so you wouldn't have been in that kind of, we made a run. We lose KG. We lose Stephon Marbury. we didn't have the things in place to allow them to adjust to being in Minnesota. And boom, now we're back to the bottom feeders. And we got Kevin Love. We had a really good player then, but we weren't winning anything.
Mm-hmm.
He was a record-setting, points and rebounds there. And he finally got to Cleveland. Start over again.
Yeah.
So I think if I'm Adam Silver, I'm not going to do it this year, but I'm really contemplating because I feel, I think the players need to be heard. I think the players that are playing need to be heard, but also they need to understand you're not going to get paid unless you start playing.
Sure.
And there's no excuse for you not to be playing. I'm not really buying into this pace thing because these guys fly private. They have physical therapists and everything under the sun with them. They eat the best of the best food. Mm-hmm. And you can't tell me when your job is to play, at minimum, if you're on an expansion, or not expansion team, but if you're on a crappy team, 82 games of basketball. That's what you're telling me? You're not practicing like you usually do. And your training camp is cut shorter, right? By what you wanted. Mm-hmm. So that means in the off season, you're not doing enough.
It's actually off.
Yeah, you off. Mm-hmm. You like when you go to the post office, they say we're closing at 5, and you go in there like right at 4:59. That gate's coming down. See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I think it's when you get back here with the lottery stuff. I think that all affects it. And one of the guys you talked about was Peterson down was at Kansas. Obviously, was a surefire number 1 pick coming into this year. There was some debate, but he was the most NBA. When you watch him play, it is different.
Yeah.
He
can move.
Yeah, and he's just kind of toying with, oh yeah, I'll get 20 in the first half. Mm-hmm. All right, man, you guys do this. I broke a little sweat. And that's something with him. And I do understand it's life-changing money, but it's also understand that money can be affected by not having the same product. You want to get paid the same, but you're getting paid for 82 games. You guys want to play 65 games. It just doesn't make sense. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's how that mindset affects how teams are going about it, because if the players are thinking it, that means it's okay within the building. That means the upper management is thinking it. What you're seeing on the court or on the football field or on the baseball diamond generally is how it's ran at the top.
Yeah, it's a reflection of it. It's what they're allowed to get away with.
Right. If you want to look at football, look at Mike Brown just forever. Cheap as all get out. He'll spend some, right? And he'll want instant, like he has a chia pet mentality.
Yeah.
Okay, I spent this year, I won a Super Bowl. Well,
not really how it works.
You just got rid of your all everything defensive coordinator, mm-hmm. right? And just gutted the defense. The only defense really that could stop Patrick Mahomes. You just gutted the guy that was behind it. Mm-hmm. And then now you want to not spend. Now you hurt Joe Burrow again. Now he's kind of like thinking about he's going to leave. And then you still don't feed guys breakfast.
Yeah.
Fuel up. At McDonald's, can I take you, or I'll take an egg McMuffin? That'll get me through. That'll do great for you. It's like having a Ferrari and put in the cheapest gas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the NBA lottery is.
What if I told you, Jay, there was one more reform included in this package?
All right, is it a good one?
No team would be able to hold 3 consecutive top 5 picks.
Like 3 years in a row?
In a row.
So can you get 2?
You can get 2. You can't get 3. The other version of this would be you can't have a top 5 pick more than 3 out of 5 years.
I'm just doing the math. So
if
you hit the first one, you could have 4 out of 6.
Hypothetically.
I like it that you can't have 3 out of 5.
Some cores, then, of modern teams that would have been prevented. The San Antonio Spurs would not have Dylan Harper because they had Wembanyama and Castle. The Pistons would not have Asar Thompson and or Ron Holland by virtue of picking Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey. The Cleveland Cavs would not have Evan Mobley by virtue of picking Darius Garland and Isaac Okoro. The Houston Rockets would not have ended up with Amen Thompson and Reed Shepard because they had Jalen Green and Jamari Smith Jr.
They're probably okay with that.
You go back through history as well. Phoenix would not have been able to take DeAndre Ayton number 1 because they had taken Dragon Bender and Josh Jackson.
Yep.
James Harden would not have been allowed to be drafted by OKC.
Oh, yeah.
Al Horford to Atlanta. Ben Simmons to Philly. Lonzo Ball to the Lakers. Andrew Wiggins to Cleveland. And Markelle Fultz to Philly.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting, man. I mean, that would affect a lot of teams. But I like it, though. Now, I wanted to ask, though, what if it's your off year, right? So say a 3 out of 5. Say you go 2, and it's, you can't do 3 in a row. And you're at pick 20, and somehow they want to trade. A team in the top 5 wants
to trade back or whatever, get a player.
And
you can trade into it, just your own pick.
You can't play yourself into it, pretty
correct.
much.
Yeah.
I like that.
Here's the other issue with this that I saw a bunch of people talking about when this came out. The reason the lottery has become so important is because of how hard it is to acquire players and superstars in other ways. Think about, Jay, the price of a superstar in a trade. How many firsts it goes for, how many players you have to give up,
5.
the salary matching rules.
Yeah.
Not every team wants to do that.
Yeah.
And then the teams that do it, if you pay it off in a ring, okay, you're one of the rare few to do that. Now you're screwed. After that star leaves. Okay, so the price of trading for these guys has gotten jacked up. And with the new aprons, it's harder to keep a team together. We talked about that with the Golden State Warriors, having to let Klay Thompson walk. You think about that with the Milwaukee Bucks, having to trade Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday away, with the Boston Celtics and the bloodletting that they had to do. And we'll see what happens with the Oklahoma City Thunder. You're not allowed to draft well and keep that team together because of the aprons. It's impossible to want to trade. Oh, and by the way, extensions are getting handed out like candy. So the best of the best players or, change of scenery guys aren't hitting the market.
Yeah.
They're getting their extensions and then being traded for, which goes into that first problem, as opposed to hitting the market and, having a bidding war for it. It is so difficult to build a team and find that cornerstone player outside of the draft lottery. And teams have recognized that. That's why tanking has become so prevalent in some ways.
Yeah, it's hard because, just a couple of weeks ago, you had LeBron talking about Memphis, right? And so that's one of the first organizations that, when you were just talking, just popped in my mind. Obviously, Portland. And I'm talking about when you're a head coach and say you're an up-and-coming team, right? And, you need a piece here and there. You ain't getting nobody to go up there to Portland. And you most likely not get anybody to go to Memphis. So I wonder what I wonder if it's like, say we drafted somebody number 1 or 2 in Portland, and we make the playoffs, and we go from an AC, say we're a 60, right? So we're kind of on the way up.
Yeah, take a step.
And say, I don't know, the New York Knicks take him. I wonder if you could do something. Okay, well, if you signed, like, we haven't been able to extend him once, and he goes to New York. You should make New York have to give back something, draft picks or futures or something like that. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the tender in NFL or the franchise tag.
Qualifying offers.
Right, yeah. So you can sign them in free agency, and they do it in NFL if you lose players and all that.
You get a comp pick.
But if you sign him, say they sign somebody to a huge contract, that comp pick, right, for them when there's only 2 drafts, right? Are you willing to give up maybe you're 1 and 2, or you're 1 year and you're high to the next, or whatever, protected and all that stuff. Some way that there is some sort of, I guess, obligation or like, I guess, skin in the game on both sides.
Yeah.
Because if you have every intention to sign him back and he decides to go somewhere else, you're here in Portland.
Yeah.
We only gonna have franchises in cool cities now. You know what I'm saying?
As if.
So
yeah.
They're going to have to try to make sure and that will probably won't entice teams to do so and cherry pick and get guys.
No.
So that way you can kind of keep it building your franchises.
It's unfortunate that it got to this point, into this position. I don't love what the NBA is proposing, but it sounds like it's a short-term solution. It might only be for 3 years for the 27 to 29 draft, so they can really wrap their head around it and just see how the league responds to it. But either way, Jay, I do think it's very clear that the NBA has a talent acquisition problem, and short-sighted, misguided, whatever, probably necessary at the end of the day.
Yeah, they're going to have to keep trying it, keep throwing the darts against the wall and see what sticks.
Nebraska baseball, Nebraska softball getting some facilities upgrades. Talk about extensions getting handed out like candy. How about facilities upgrades getting handed out like candy? Let's talk about what's going into that for baseball and softball, as well as what else is going on with facilities at Nebraska. He's Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman. I'm Austin Norman. More of Old School brought to you by Graham Tire after this.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Gentlemen, are you ready for something beyond the ordinary haircut? At Scissors and Scotch Lincoln, they blend your old school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. Sink into a comfy chair, unwind with a complimentary drink, and let their master barbers handle the rest. It's not just grooming, it's an experience. Whether you're prepping for a big meeting, needing to get cleaned up before family comes to town, or just need a little time to yourself, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln delivers sharp style every time. Book now at Scissors and Scotch in Lincoln, just south of 30th and Yankee Hill Road.
93.7 The Ticket is Lincoln's home for Kansas City Royals baseball in 2026. Catch all the action as Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and a pitching rotation led by Cole Reagans try to lead the Royals back to the postseason. That's Kansas City Royals baseball all summer long. On the air in Lincoln at 93.7 The Ticket.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Hey everyone, this is Austin Orman from Old School with Foreman and Orman, live from 1040 O Street in the heart of downtown Lincoln, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. My favorite thing about downtown Lincoln has to be the year-round energy. Downtown Lincoln never stops. It's easy to get to, has everything you could need or want in dining, entertainment, and retail, and of course it has Lincoln's best sports talk, proudly located in downtown Lincoln on the corner of 11th and O.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
Is your air conditioner ready for the hot weather ahead? Get it checked now before you really need it. Call Bryant now to schedule your spring air conditioning service check. No matter what brand equipment you have, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean, inspect, and test to make sure it's ready to cool efficiently when hot weather hits. Stay cool and comfortable with air conditioning services from Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111 to schedule your AC check. Bryant, whatever it takes.
At DWE Generations, having a plan matters, especially when it comes to protecting what's most important. They work with individuals, families, and business owners to help make smart financial decisions that support life today and set the foundation for generations. David Darlington, Russell Walton, and Cody Eiler bring decades of experience, and their dedicated team provides follow-through, answering questions, explaining next steps, and staying connected as life evolves. DWE Generations, a generational wealth planning firm. DWE Generations is a marketing name for individuals doing business as representatives of Northwestern Mutual. Visit generations.nm.com or call 402-483-7871 and ask for David, Russell, or Cody.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement. There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in to Old School. Like I said, brought to you by Graham Tire Company. I made it out there. I did. They were great.
They line you up?
They got my car lined up and everything. Great people, really friendly. Told me more about my car than I had ever known before. Give me a list of things that might be worth checking out in the future. Appreciate that. I don't know
preventative
jack from squat about cars, and so I'm glad that the folks at Graham Tire do. Really appreciate them. 4 Lincoln locations. They've been serving the Midwest for 75 years. Oil changes, brakes, tires, light truck repairs, car repairs, you name it. Graham Tire has you covered. Graham Tire getting you to the places that matter most. 402-464-5685. JM, more facilities news for Nebraska athletics. Troy Dannon mentioned this yesterday. Nebraska baseball and Nebraska softball getting new clubhouses at their facilities, respective training facilities. What exactly that means, I'm not sure. Typically, in Major League Baseball, the clubhouse is the locker room, essentially, the player hangout area, a little bit of dining, snacks,
lounge.
TVs,
I'm sure
lounge.
There's going to be I'm sure they're going to upgrade the locker room.
Yeah.
Spice that up a little bit. They probably have some lounge, with TVs and stuff like that. Probably, upgrade, facelift that. Hey, look, man, and I'm sure they have some sort of mini dining area and all that, and stuff that where they can entertain themselves and entertain recruits and stuff as well. So it's not. A big part of it is obviously the present, day players or the players on the roster, but then also where you can bring recruits and be on par. I'm sure, especially with the emergence of both teams, and so I'm just thinking right now. Obviously, Nebraska's battling warmer weather teams. So I'm just thinking Texas, both in the softball as well, whereas you go down there and it's probably, perceived as bigger and better. It's probably newer, more modern.
Mm-hmm.
And so Nebraska, is probably thinking okay, if we're able to be this successful and we want to, continue to upgrade, it's a small thing, but, are the dividends that are going to pay off from that even tangible? Not so much, but you have to have the basics. And part of the basics is having, it's an arms race versus, facilities. So you got to be strategic. You got to be smart. I think timing is huge when you do it. I always said about the new, Big Red, expansion project. What's it called? Big Red what?
Big Red Rebuild.
Big Red Rebuild is you're getting a lot of pushback on, obviously a lot of it's dealt with, wins and losses, but then also, the Go Big project is just fairly pretty new.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I say it was functional for some time, but wasn't fully functional. And so when it's only been fully functional for a short period of time. And so for the, softball and baseball, they've had 2 really good years. And so it's probably been a little bit overdue.
That's a great point, because I do think that being successful and being rewarded for it has to matter. You think about all the stuff that's been going on. We just got the new track unveiled. They were really successful there for a stretch and continue to be so. You look at volleyball and Bob Devaney getting a bit of a facelift and a makeover to add some more seating. Okay, extra successful
seats,
program pushing the envelope, well-deserved. The Memorial Stadium one, football's record is what it is, but they're changing kind of the concept of it, right? It's probably been overdue as well. It's been time. It's been talked about for a while, and they want to use it year-round. So it's for football, but not really for football, but kind of for football. We'll give them credit for it.
You have a problem with that?
With
it not being exclusively for football?
I don't.
Why not? It's called a football stadium.
Well, it is called a football stadium, but they also play, I don't know, basketball championships in football stadiums before. I know plenty of other places have concerts in them, and I think that it doesn't hurt anything necessarily.
Yeah.
I know we had Jason Peter in here at one point last fall. Wasn't a fan of it. But
just the banana.
It's also, not sacred to me, not holy ground like it was for you guys. I don't have the same connection to it that you guys ever would. So I can understand both sides of it, but I do think the idea to use it for other events and, bring in some more money isn't necessarily a bad idea. And then baseball and softball, right? Baseball hasn't really been bad recently, they've just kind of been what they are. They're having one of their better seasons in a while right now. A lot of promise, obviously, the hopes of hosting regionals still out there. Softball, obviously, has been a pretty consistent program in regionals, then has leveled up when Jory Ball-Fromm is now on the roster doing her thing. Recruiting seems to have ticked up as well. And so I love that little carrot being out there in front of coaches and programs. You perform well, we'll take care of you.
Yeah, I mean,
here's my issue, though. Where's the money coming from? With all these projects hitting at once, do you have a donor willing to pony up $10 million? Do you have 5 donors willing to pony up $2 million, 10 for $1 million? Full Mr. McNair style, like you've talked about before. Yeah. It is well deserved. I am not against it. It makes sense, but I just would like to know where this money is coming from. They're not pulling from the academic side. If they are, that'd be bizarre.
They had a nice little reserve. You probably got money in reserves waiting to do stuff like that.
But it's $600 million for Go Big Red on top of the track, on top of the Bob Devaney, on top of an extra 10.
That's
my
different.
Conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat on, is that private equity is around the corner, and that Nebraska is doing this in hopes of or knowing something that we don't, that there's an infusion of cash coming. The Big 12 just today agreed to their private capital deal. $12.5 million to the conference, an optional $30 million per school.
And doesn't the SEC already have theirs?
I don't think so. I could be wrong on that. I know the Big 12 was the first one to come out with it, and then they officially agreed to it today. The Big 10, we talked about that a bunch toward the tail end of last year. Maybe Nebraska has money coming from somewhere else for these programs that have more success and people are excited. They're ponying up for it. In that case, cool. If this is private equity money, I don't know if that's my favorite look.
Well, I think the $600 million is in a different category versus all those like the track and stuff like that. So I'm sure that they've had some money in reserve to offset that, or at least I'd like to think.
You can't do a project like this if you don't have money, right? $600 million, I can understand breaking ground and finding it as you go.
$600 million that's different than what you have in your like savings.
Yeah.
Because
but how much savings do you think Nebraska has left after all those other projects? You think they have enough? They better.
To do the $600 million?
No, to do the 10 for baseball and softball on top of.
That's how much it costs?
5.5 for baseball, 4.5 for softball.
Dang. For real?
On top of Bob Devaney, on top of the whole new track, on top of the football practice field renovations, Jay.
Break bread.
If they have it, great. Go do it.
I think they
better have it.
Yeah, I think they got it.
They better have it.
Yeah, they got it. I think they got it. That money, yeah. So it's like 20-some million. I think they got that.
They need to.
Oh, they got 20-some million. Listen. Okay, long before Matt Rule got here and Troy Dannon got here, and long before Bo Pelini and Nice Mike and Scott Frost. So after Frank Solich, people were still coming to football in droves.
Mm-hmm.
They got money in the bank. Now, obviously, when you do $10 million worth, you got a little, you got a nice little dent in there.
Lighten up a little bit.
Yeah. And I think Nebraska was able to do some of these facilities years and years ago because of having, built up reserves and then being able to replenish it. So that's where if it was like, if it's viable, still working, we'll continue to stack money. And then now Troy came in and probably evaluated everything. I think he said it himself, and he came in and kind of watched and learned and looked at evaluated every, I guess obviously every sport and facility they have, and went from there. That's a lot though, but I think they got it. And I do agree with you that some sort of private equity is coming. It's already maybe here and you just haven't heard about it, but I think it's coming. First of all, these people, just in general, across the Big Ten, and presidents and the people at the university are not going to let private money be dangled in front of them and not snatch it. They're going to do it, because the days of like Austin being the president or a chancellor or whatever it is at Penn State for 20, 30 years, that ain't happening no more.
Nope.
So they're making decisions, which they will have to do for right now in the short future. You know what I'm saying? So if private equity money is there, they're going to make it and do what they need to do with it while they're there.
My successor can deal with the fallout.
Right. 'Cause I'll be on to my next job.
Mm.
And if it works out, then it's great. Then you're a great thinker. You're a great planner. You always have the future in mind. Look at this great thing Austin did.
He's a visionary.
He's a visionary. See?
The other important part of this to point out, it's something very similar to what we said with the $600 million price tag, is this most likely and almost assuredly is not money that could have been used to pay athletes. Different pools, different budgets. It's not like Nebraska is going all in on facilities over players. I think it's been very well proven, and I think this horse is pretty well beaten that the facilities arms race is all but over. That was so 2010s. Still helps to have nice facilities and be upgrading them. But the way of the world right now is how much you got to pay players. How can you distribute that money? If this was Nebraska's savings, where this $10 million is coming from, Jay, technically Nebraska wouldn't be able to use that money to give to athletes because it'd be pay for play.
I think when we get a little bit later in the show, we'll get people's opinions. Would you rather have the stadium fixed or chance that the money goes to the players? Because I would argue the money going to the stadium potentially can give you more money in return.
Ooh, interesting.
If you're going to do all this outside conference or concerts and stuff like that and keep it using year round, not staying stagnant no more.
Right. Which is the big reason I'm in favor of it.
It's the chicken and egg because that money can go and help to get players. But I just think, you hear it. We see it, we read it. We see it and read it, and then we hear it too. Is just that people are just 50-50 right down the middle about this, stadium expansion, which it's great that you're on the other side of 50, the other 50%. But in reality, it's 100% going to get started here, at the end of the season. So this is always interesting with these facilities and stuff like that. But I think Nebraska had enough money to cover it, or will have enough money to cover it. I think what they're trying to do is, one, like you said, reward, winning programs and coaches
needs
that
to
have
happen.
done well. But then also get back up to pace. I mean, it's been 20-something years, and you haven't really spiced it up at all over there.
No. Jumbotron here and there, ribbon boards here and there. The other part of this we'll throw out with the football stadium and the year-round thing. Troy Dan and Matt Rule said that no longer will the playing surface be grass. It's going to be that same kind of synthetic hybrid turf, probably a little bit better for concerts, not completely tearing up the grass.
And winter.
Yeah.
And also, who's really happy about this decision? NSAA.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so they can still play college football championship there, or not college football, high school championships there. They got grass fields to practice on. They're really good practice fields. Obviously, I'm assuming Matt would like to play on grass, but he also understands that the new turf is just as close, and you got to just keep upgrading that too as well. Now, that's part of your tools, though. I look at it, right? That's something that you. Like, I think if you went over to, there's 10 people and you say, hey, look, we got to upgrade this turf. They'd be like, okay, I understand, because the players play on it and so forth and so on. But it does allow you to do some things outside of football that help you offset some of the $600 million. So and that maybe is in their projections.
Yeah.
You start lining up concerts and, okay, we did this and this is what, our take home was. You definitely can somewhat predict the future on a project like that.
You can't predict the weather, but you can predict how your house can handle it if you get new windows from Heartland of Nebraska Windows. They're based out of Hallam, Nebraska. They offer free estimates, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty on everything while keeping their prices affordable. Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. Give Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today for more info, 402-430-3852. You can also visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. One short segment coming up to wrap up hour one, Thirsty Thursday, and NFL free agency matchmaking ahead in hour number two. Full 3-hour show, so stick with us till 6 o'clock. He's Jay Foreman. I'm Austin Norman. More of Old School after this.
Seems like just the other day, I was building my first house. I've seen many changes to our building market in Lincoln. It's been a fun road.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
We hear this a lot where I don't want to live in a cookie cutter home. Well, let's come up with some answers on what we're going to build, where we're going to build it, and what it's going to cost. One thing that we started doing early on was we started building neighborhoods. I'm a firm believer in character in your street and in your neighborhood. I like choice. I like variation. I like maybe something a little bit different in a neighborhood that you don't see in every neighborhood. I think it's great to have choices, its uniqueness, and I think that's what gives a neighborhood character. And I think that's what we've done over the years.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Hey, this is Jay Foreman, the host of Old School, 3 to 6 p.m. here at 93.7 The Ticket. And one of my favorite things to do is come down and meet all the fans before and after as they cheer on our beloved Huskers.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
Let's fly. Your next trip starts at Lincoln Airport with American Airlines. Now flying nonstop service to Dallas, Fort Worth, and Chicago. American Airlines connects Lincoln to major hubs and destinations around the globe. Wherever you're headed, LNK gets you there with new nonstop flights on American Airlines. Now boarding. Convenient, fast, and stress-free. Book your next flight at LincolnAirport.com. LNK, make flying easy.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
This is Grant Wister. I played at Nebraska, and after football, I wanted to build something in Nebraska that I was genuinely proud of. Champ Roofing is that. We built the whole company around one idea: do the job right and treat people well. Roof replacements, inspections, gutters, siding, whatever you need, our team is going to show up, communicate with you, and handle it with real care. Nebraska homeowners deserve that. Visit us at champ-roofing.com or call 402-858-7449.
Graham Tire presents life's greatest adventures.
Okay, buddy, here we go. Just keep your eye on the ball. All right, just swing right through it. Yeah, good job. Way to go. Hey, run it out. Okay.
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
Want to make the easy call? Call John Henry's. From leaky pipes to a broken AC, flickering lights to furnace fights, even drains and duct cleaning, we've got it handled. Plumbing, heating, air, and electrical, all under one trusted roof. Proudly serving homes across Lincoln, Omaha, and surrounding areas, and ready 24/7. Visit calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
John just tried Runza's new Jammin' Bacon Cheeseburger with its sweet heat bacon jam, pepper jack cheese, bacon, and cream cheese.
Whoa, this burger's like totally...
What?
You know,
Not sure I'm getting it.
it's totally jammin'.
Ah, I see. Well, don't jam with your mouth full. Try the Jammin' Bacon Cheeseburger. Because from the way we make it to the way it makes you feel, Runza makes it all better.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're wrapping up hour 1 of Old School, brought to you by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Austin Orman, Jay Foreman here. Jay, from the private equity side of things, like I brought up at the end of last segment, The Athletic wrote on the Big 12 agreeing to its deal They say, in addition to the immediate capital, the Big 12 has a year to accept up to another $12.5 million. Its member schools also have the option of taking up to $30 million in credit. It remains unclear how many schools will agree to that deal, but league sources anticipate only a few doing so. Seems a little
don't get left out.
Different than the Big Ten's plan, where either you're in or you're out, not you have the choice to be in or out.
Yeah, it is significantly different, but I think they need more money than we do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think if we're getting this money, you want to get it with us, we'll deal with it later. If you don't, then you just out of luck. And look, they got to do what they got to do to survive. They had a really good year the last couple of years, in my opinion, from top to bottom, depth-wise, on the football field. In order to maintain that, they're going to have to, get an influx of money.
The other thing that is recently breaking, Elite 11 finals roster was announced. Trey Taylor will be making an appearance. Braylon Warren will be making an appearance. You also have Israel Adams going to the U. Will Menzel going to Oregon. Bunch of intriguing names there.
Mm-hmm.
Colton Nussmeier, younger brother of Garrett.
Yeah, and was it Menzel or Wenzel just committed to Oregon?
To Oregon, yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, big shout out to Trey Taylor and Braylon Warren.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. I mean, look, Trey Taylor's coming here, been committed to Nebraska for a couple of years, about.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like forever. And Braylon Warren, I mean, look, just quiet as kept, like a little silent assassin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been knowing Braylon since he's been a little kid, man. He's like a Duke point guard. 8 points, 8 assists when he played basketball. Straight up.
Which Duke point guard would he be?
He's kind of like the dude that they got now that's coming back, number one.
Ooh, a little Caden Booster to him? Okay.
Yeah.
Foster. Caleb Foster. Sorry. Yeah.
Got quiet nastiness to him.
Yeah.
Hit a couple of open threes, but definitely controls the game. But, big shout out, though. The Elite 11, I mean, when you look over the history of those quarterbacks, they've done pretty well. Very rarely do they stay at the same spot, but either way, they've done pretty well. And it's a great accomplishment for Trey and Braylon to come from, not
from where they did.
From not like notoriously known as quarterback, like, cities or states.
Mm-hmm.
And they've done it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've done well all season. I've followed Trey and obviously all the updates and Braylon as well.
He still hasn't hit you back about coming on the show.
I know. I seen him too. Hey, you know what's funny about Trey Taylor? You know what's funny? Like sometimes when you see somebody and you could do a double take. I did. Yeah. He saw me. I was like, that's me. Well, we're going to see him. He's over there sometimes.
Trey, we're across the street, brother.
Well,
come on.
Go to the door and they try to look through the peephole, put the finger over there.
Yeah. Are we going full like Men in Black style?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Put him right here, too.
Yep.
Yeah. Put him in the pressure cooker.
We're bringing Kevin Meyer into the pressure cooker, a man who is familiar with a pressure cooker, I'm sure. I can't imagine Uncle Kev isn't familiar with one. Well, I get some growing stuff, some libations, as you would say, and plenty more. Thirsty Thursday next, leading off hour 2 of Old School, brought to you by Graham Tire Company.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Gentlemen, are you ready for something beyond the ordinary haircut? At Scissors and Scotch Lincoln, they blend your old school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. Sink into a comfy chair, unwind with a complimentary drink, and let their master barbers handle the rest. It's not just grooming, it's an experience. Whether you're prepping for a big meeting, needing to get cleaned up before family comes to town, or just need a little time to yourself, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln delivers sharp style every time. Book now at Scissors and Scotch in Lincoln, just south of 30th and Yankee Hill Road.
93.7 The Ticket is Lincoln's home for Kansas City Royals baseball in 2026. Catch all the action as Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and a pitching rotation led by Cole Reagans try to lead the Royals back to the postseason. That's Kansas City Royals baseball all summer long. On the air in Lincoln at 93.7 The Ticket.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to Oak Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Hey everyone, this is Austin Orman from Old School with Foreman and Orman, live from 1040 O Street in the heart of downtown Lincoln, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. My favorite thing about downtown Lincoln has to be the year-round energy. Downtown Lincoln never stops. It's easy to get to, has everything you could need or want in dining, entertainment, and retail, and of course it has Lincoln's best sports talk, proudly located in downtown Lincoln on the corner of 11th and O.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
Is your air conditioner ready for the hot weather ahead? Get it checked now before you really need it. Call Bryant now to schedule your spring air conditioning service check. No matter what brand equipment you have, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean, inspect, and test to make sure it's ready to cool efficiently when hot weather hits. Stay cool and comfortable with air conditioning services from Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111 to schedule your AC check. Bryant, whatever it takes.
At DWE Generations, having a plan matters, especially when it comes to protecting what's most important. They work with individuals, families, and business owners to help make smart financial decisions that support life today and set the foundation for generations. David Darlington, Russell Walton, and Cody Eiler bring decades of experience, and their dedicated team provides follow-through, answering questions, explaining next steps, and staying connected as life evolves. DWE Generations, a generational wealth planning firm. DWE Generations is a marketing name for individuals doing business as representatives of Northwestern Mutual. Visit generations.nm.com or call 402-483-7871 and ask for David, Russell, or Cody.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement. There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
Why wait until Friday to start your weekend?
Go ahead, start right now.
You're thirsty now, and 93.7 The Ticket is here to help you stock up.
Just in time for the weekend when I like to hit the clubs.
Time to broaden your horizons and try some new wine and beer. It's Thirsty Thursday with Kevin Meyer from Meyer's Cork and Bottle.
We take it.
Meh.
We
it was
take
all
it.
right.
It's all right.
Gentlemen.
Kevin.
What's going on?
Well, you're here, so life is good now.
There it is.
There it is.
Came back like Return of the Jedi.
Is that the best Star Wars movie?
Ooh.
Empire Strikes Back.
Ooh, an Empire guy. Okay.
When I was, I haven't seen any of them since Return of the Jedi. When I was a kid, though, I, like to collect all the figures and do all that stuff. So at the time, when I remember going down to what is now the Rococo Theater, it was called the Stewart Theater, and the line would line around the block, and you'd wait and wait and wait. And I saw Return of the Jedi there. And at the time, I thought it was the best movie I've ever seen. So I'm going to go Return of the Jedi, but it's hard to beat the original as well.
Yeah, I could see it. I will say of the more recent additions to them, the Star Wars movie I've enjoyed most was Rogue One, the interim, essentially the prequel to Episode 4, the original.
Yeah, see,
that was pretty good. That was good.
Even though you know how it's going to end, I thought it was pretty well done. But text line, what's your favorite Star Wars movie? 402-464-5685. Kev, what we got here? Start us off.
We're going to start with the beer, and I was mostly considering a Kentucky Derby themed today.
People forget that's this weekend.
But I didn't really have a Kentucky themed beer. But this is a new beer, and it's called Big Red Ale. And it's from Boss City Brewing in Sydney, Nebraska. Mostly, I think there's going to be a cease and desist. So we want to drink it before that happens, because it doesn't look like it's licensed. They call it Big Red Ale. It does say something along the lines of, this is our tribute to Nebraska's favorite sports teams in Lincoln. The robust malt profile studded with medium caramel accents is beautifully counterbalanced, just the right level of hops. And then it lists all the Husker sports. But there's nothing in here about collegiate licensing or licensing with the university. And so I'm guessing.
Any logos or anything?
No logos.
Okay.
Just the block lettering a little bit.
Well, that's just like varsity gridiron lettering.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But better safe than sorry.
I'm just thinking there's going to be a C&D. So let's drink up while we still can.
Shout out Sydney, Nebraska. Let's load the spot.
Where is Sydney?
So it's about, as you're headed west on I-80, I would say it's about 45 minutes to the Wyoming border.
Oh, it's way out there.
It's way out there.
Yeah.
Past Scotts Bluff?
No, not quite all the way to Scotts Bluff. You got to go off the interstate to get to Scotts Bluff. But if you're heading to Colorado or heading to Wyoming, just take I-80. That'll take you straight through Sydney, through Cheyenne, and then you horseshoe around to get to Laramie. But it's interesting since Cabela's left their headquarters there. So the city had developed and grown around Cabela's, and it no longer is there. So I don't know. It's been a while since I've been through there.
With no offense to the great people of Potter and Dix or Kimball, Sydney's kind of the last notable town on 80 West.
100% fair. Yeah. Yes.
So I do have to give a shout out to my guy, Austin Jacobson, UNK's finest, who tweeted ahead of Nebraska, Iowa, if Iowa basketball beats Nebraska, he will run from his hometown of Sydney, Nebraska, to Sydney, Iowa, in a corn cob onesie, eating nothing but corn on the cob.
Wow, that's a bold statement.
And guess what happened?
Yeah. I think you're talking next year. No, that was this year.
No, it was
okay.
for the Sweet 16 game.
Jay, what are we shaving our heads for if we make the playoff, college football playoff?
That's what we're shaving it for.
Was that what the bet was? Just to make the playoff.
Yeah.
Okay. Deal. I'm not running from Sydney to Sydney eating nothing but corn.
Way.
No way.
I wouldn't even want to drive from Sydney to Sydney.
I ran a half marathon once. That was enough.
This is good, Kev.
This is good. I really like it. It is kind of reddish in color or amber, a little bit malty. It's still crisp. I think it's a great tasting beer. I just I don't know what licensing in terms of Big Red, can you really license a verb and a color, or an adjective and a color?
Yeah.
Big would be an adjective. Yeah. Forgive my English minor at the university, but
ends for knowledge, right?
Right. So I don't know but it's a darn good tasting beer, and we always want to support local breweries. And this one's out of Sydney, Nebraska, and it says Big Red, and it is everything it says it is.
So Big Red is not licensed, but Go Big Red is by the university. So
well, there we go.
So potentially safe. No, that's crisp. That's clean. Absolutely here for it.
Little bit of that bready maltiness, pretty tasty.
For a darker beer, I like it because it's still
it's not heavy.
Yeah, it's not heavy.
And it's not like a high ABV either. 5.4. I mean, that's about what a Bud Heavy would be.
Yeah, that's about today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Walk down to the mailbox.
Right.
Say what's up to a couple neighbors, wait for the games come on.
Got a crisp, clean day out there.
Yeah.
And it's cool. Little bit of breeze, but the sun is out.
That's exactly what that's for.
That I think you're right. I think that that would be the recipe for today.
Did you know this was going to be this dark?
I did not. I haven't tried it yet. This is the first time. So, but I assumed it was going to be sort of caramely in color. It did actually pour a little darker than I thought, but it certainly doesn't drink heavy. But yeah, Boss City Big Red Ale out of Sydney, Nebraska. Delicious. Definitely worth a try for sure.
And it's even legal to take across the border to Wyoming if you're on your way out of Sydney, I assume. Not like fireworks or anything. So.
I think it depends on the quantity. You know, if you're going like Smokey and the Bandit, eastbound and down, you may have to check that first. But yeah, certainly there's nothing wrong with taking a 6-pack across the Wyoming border.
You mentioned Kentucky Derby. I assume the wine fits in the theme.
The wine does.
Okay.
So this is called Horse Heaven Hills Merlot out of Washington State. We did a Washington wine last week, and so it's not really a red at this point. It's a groove, I think. And but sticking with the Kentucky Derby theme, Horse Heaven Hills, and what that is actually a place within the Columbia Valley, and so they're what's called AVAs, or American Viticulture Areas, or appellations. So they're essentially designated wine producing regions. And so Horse Heaven Hills would be a sub appellation of the Columbia Valley in Washington State. And we don't do a lot of Merlot generally, but I think Merlot's kind of making a comeback. And I really like the wines from this region, not just in terms of quality and taste, but also bang for your buck. Like these are on the shelf for $15. And, certainly approachable on a wide variety of levels.
This is real easy.
Mm-hmm.
This is dangerous.
You know what I've been doing a little bit here and there, Jay? I think you'd like. Do you ever do lamb?
Oh, yeah.
Rack of lamb?
Oh, yeah.
So at Costco, you can buy these racks of lamb, and they've got 8 bones in them. And so what I do, I'll cut them into 4. So 2 bones each.
Yeah.
And it's like a lamb lollipop. And I just use steak seasoning on it, grill those up, and you grill them like you would a steak. So you want them a little bit, pink
Medium,
in the middle.
Yeah.
And then you just eat them, off the bone, like a lamb lollipop.
Yeah, like Fred Flintstone.
Yeah. Like Fred Flintstone. Yeah. Like Brontosaurus, chop or whatever. But I think a wine like this with something like that would be
perfect.
Would be delicious.
This is good, man.
It's smooth.
It's a great introductory red.
Yeah, it's super approachable. There's nothing bitey about it. It's got really good flavor. It's not like tart or puckery. I'm really happy with this.
No, I'm looking at the sticker. This is good, man.
This is legit.
It's got like big eagle wing on there or something like that. Perhaps sticking with the heaven of the Horse Heaven Hills.
I'm just telling you, man, these last 2 wines, if you're a young buck out there, you could really pass a sophistication test with that. You know what I mean? First time that you're cooking for
a lady friend
or
showing up to meet their folks for the first time, and you don't want to show up empty-handed, something like that.
Or if you're in a frat house, you got dressed up to do one of those things, you got to show up with something, be sophisticated.
There you go.
And this would be gone quick in a frat house. I mean, this is out the bottle.
Yeah. Oh, they have guys taking it to the head. Kev, you have any new recipes, man?
Well, I mean, that lamb chop is kind of been fun. I've been playing around with sort of homemade chicken gyros.
Yeah.
So marinate some chicken.
Yeah, that's good.
And I like this seasoning. It's called Greek Freak, like Giannis.
Yeah.
But you marinate it in some Greek Freak, be real liberal with it so you can really get that Greek flavor. And then we just chop it up. And my wife makes a really good homemade tzatziki, but you can also buy it. Little chopped cucumber, little chopped tomato, and I like hot sauce on my gyros. So I've been doing that too.
You have a go-to brand for hot sauce on your gyros?
This would just be like Louisiana style. Yeah.
You ever had Louisiana hot sauce?
I've not had Louisiana hot sauce.
That's the only one I'll use.
Really?
Yeah, Louisiana hot sauce.
I like to try different ones, but that's sort of my baseline. Yeah. That's my go-to. I know what I'm going to get out of it.
Kevin, I got this new one, man.
Yeah?
Yeah. So you just get chicken thighs, right? And so you season them up like you regular would. And then you cut up on the side, you do bacon, and you can do Brussels sprouts or broccoli. So you cook the bacon, right? Thicker bacon.
Sure.
That's your over there. Then on the chicken, you cook this skin side down.
Are you doing it on your pellet grill?
No, you're doing it on the Blackstone.
Blackstone.
And
okay.
then you take like cheese, onion, and mushrooms and put it in there. It's hidden.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Are these bone in?
No.
Oh,
no.
Boneless thighs.
Yeah, boneless thighs.
So,
I like bone in though. I prefer bone in, but boneless.
But
thighs.
if you're stuffing them like that,
Yeah.
So do you pin them closed or anything, or
No.
you just sort of fold them in?
No, you just kind of leave them open.
Huh.
I've done it both ways where you pin them. Now, if I'm going to pin them closed, then I'm going to do the bone in.
Okay. The another thing I like to do is that you take a chicken breast and you butterfly it, and you can stuff it with cream cheese.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Sun-dried tomato.
Yep.
And maybe some spinach or something along those lines. Season that up, and then you brown it in the pan, and you get that pan really smoking hot, and deglaze it with some white wine, and then just throw that in the oven, and that cream cheese melts out, and you can even add some mushrooms so it gets creamy mushroomy sauce in the white wine. Oh man, that's something else. I'm having a Pavlovian experience over here.
Straight up.
Isn't
there a horse named Pavlovian in the Kentucky Derby?
There's not a horse named Pavlovian, but there is one.
Check gate 16.
There is, let's see, there's Litmus Test, which is kind of, there's also one called Further Ado, which I just like the name. Incredibolt. There's one called Dannon Bourbon.
Dannen Bourbon?
I think with an O, like more like the yogurt than the
athletic director.
Yeah, but it does have 20-1 odds. So, I think Uncle Kev might take a $100 bill down to the casino and maybe do parlay a couple exactas here and there on some high odd ponies for the weekend. I think that'll be fun.
How long you been in on watching the ponies, Uncle Kev?
This would be year 3.
Nice.
Yeah, my mom used to take us when we were kids. My good old Grandma Mary Lou liked to bet on the ponies back in the day, and that was just it was a fun. She could just let us just run wild. You eat that ice cream with the flat wooden spoon.
Yeah.
And she'd bet maybe 50 cents or whatever. She wasn't like a big gambler, but it was just fun. It was cheap entertainment to take the kids, and so I'm kind of nostalgic in that regard, and so. I started just kind of fiddling around and trying to do my research 3 years ago. And so it's coming up, and I thought, let's give it a shot. So
how'd the first 2 years go for you?
Well, both times I picked the 1 and the 2, and the 3 escaped me. So last year I had the 1 and the 2, and my 3 horse got scratched. And so it got replaced with another horse. And I'm like, well, that's silly just to put the replacement horse in there. So I just randomly picked another horse for my trifecta. Well, wouldn't you know it, the replacement horse ended up getting 3rd. And so if I would have just stuck with that, I would have won, I think, about $4,500. But
what'd you get for 1 and 2?
Nothing.
What? You had all 3?
All or nothing?
Well, it depends on how you bet it. So
do you parlay it?
Yeah. So I did a what's called a boxing one. So you can get 3-2-1, 2-3-1, 1-3-2, etc. And but if you don't get all 3 horses, you can get them in any order you want.
Just need the 3.
You just need the 3 in necessarily, and they have to be all top 3. So that's a really tough bet to make because it's such a huge field.
Sure.
There's like 20 horses, and so most horse races don't have that many. And so basically, the best horse doesn't always win. They can get boxed out by the field. So this year, but there's a lot of long odd horses. There's this Litmus Test, which is a Bob Baffert horse.
Okay. Yep.
So he's the only trainer that anyone's ever heard of because he's trained a whole bunch of, Triple Crown winners, or not Triple Crown, but winners.
And cheated a lot, potentially.
Well, got banned.
Yeah.
For doping his horses. And so
think about that, Jay. HGH.
Yeah.
Horse growth hormone.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's a Baffert horse. It's going to be juiced to the gills. I mean, and at 30-1,
take my money.
that'd be worth a little $10 exacta, Why not? So it'll be fun. But please, I am by no means an expert. I don't ever gamble. I occasionally will hit some slot machines. But I go down there once a year to place a bet, just for fun bet on the ponies.
You ever been?
Never been to the Kentucky Derby, but I think we were kind of talking about this off air, that it would kind of like being able to go to a Super Bowl or able to go to the Masters or a Game 7 World Series. I think going to the Kentucky Derby, Churchill Downs, right?
Yes.
Just the pomp and circumstance and the ponies and the outfits and the drinks. And I think that would just be a blast and just be one of those life experiences that would certainly be fun to do.
Are you a mint juleps guy?
No, I'm not a whiskey guy.
Okay.
I've had to learn about them just because they're super popular, which
hazard of the job.
but we are starting to get some things that we weren't able to get before. So like we just got in these, it's a Willet Purple Top, like a reserve small batch bourbon that just came in. We've been able to get Old Fitzgerald 7-year bottled and bond. We've got some Bookers in stock. And so, if you're on the hunt for some of those harder to find whiskeys, we've got a handful of them in stock at the store right now. First come, first serve.
I know Mother's Day's around the corner, but Father's Day not far behind it. So
there you go.
Keep that in mind.
By the, if your wife likes whiskey or mom likes whiskey, then go right ahead. Otherwise, you can save it for your old man, and he'll probably share some with you too.
Jay, would you ever hit the Kentucky Derby?
Yeah, I would go.
Grandstands or infield?
What?
Same to you, Kev.
I don't know the difference.
Well, it's sitting like in the stands or in the middle of the track.
Oh, I'm going in the middle of the track. That's where you want to be, right?
I don't know. Yeah, sure. Me and Jay.
Well, just like NASCAR, would you rather sit like up in the stands or would you rather be in the middle?
I mean, well, I'm to watch the race. I'd probably rather be in the stands, but for the mulling around and like I said, just to see the eye candy, the middle of the track would be kind of fun, just to get up close to the horses.
Jay, would you rather do a Kentucky Derby trip or like an Indianapolis 500 trip, Daytona 500 trip?
Ooh, that's tough.
I'm putting Jay on the spot. Same question to you then, Kevin.
I'll do Kentucky Derby. I've been to the Bank of America like 400 or 500, and the first couple laps is exciting when they're building up speed, or you're waiting for them to get in a crash. Otherwise, it's like they just keep driving around in circles.
Yeah. I think I'd probably do Kentucky Derby. I'm probably Masters first.
Yes.
Yeah, that's no doubt.
Yeah.
I think.
But would you pick a certain hole to post up on the Masters? Or you walking it?
I'd probably stick around Amen Corner. Yeah, I think that's where a lot of the movement happens, and it's one of the more beautiful parts of the golf course, I think. But yeah, I don't know. It'd be difficult. Super Bowl, Game 7 of the World Series, Kentucky Derby, Masters. I wouldn't. NBA Finals would be like low on my list, I think.
Stanley Cup Game 7?
That would be electric. I mean, I tell you what, there is nothing like playoff hockey.
I keep getting told that.
You have to watch it sometime because, I mean, it is nonstop. And like, you get 15, 20 minutes of play before you get a commercial. Ooh. Everything else is just like, you get 2 or 3 plays commercial, 2 or 3 plays commercial. And playoff hockey is intense. And so I think to be there for like when someone wins the Stanley Cup, I would put that above an NBA final anytime. And I'm not a huge hockey fan, but I would choose that.
Ever been to an NHL game?
I went to a Minnesota North Stars game.
Old school.
Yeah, before they got moved off to Dallas. And so for a while, it was a shame Minnesota didn't have an NHL team before the Wild came back. So that was, sort of, that'd be like Nebraska not having a football team. It's hockey mecca up there. And so that was crazy when the North Stars moved out of Minnesota. But I did get to see a game one time when growing up.
Jay, big one from Minneapolis tonight. T-Wolves got a chance to close it out in 6. Wild got a chance to close it out in 6. How's that city handling it right now?
Oh, it's about to be on and popping up there. First half is going to be off the hook. It's Thursday night, too. People taking off Friday. It's game over.
Snow's finally melted. Weather's warming up. Ice has left the lake. People are getting ready to get juiced.
The Eiffel Tower are going to be blocking shots tonight, too.
Nice.
Go get him, Rudy Gobert. All right, Kev. Thanks as always. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
as always.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Check out the store, corner 13th and South. He is Uncle Kevin Meyer. This is Thirsty Thursday, brought to you by Myers, Cork, and Bottle. We'll be back with more Old School next. 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Gentlemen, are you ready for something beyond the ordinary haircut? At Scissors and Scotch Lincoln, they blend your old school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. Sink into a comfy chair, unwind with a complimentary drink, and let their master barbers handle the rest. It's not just grooming, it's an experience. Whether you're prepping for a big meeting, needing to get cleaned up before family comes to town, or just need a little time to yourself, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln delivers sharp style every time. Book now at Scissors and Scotch in Lincoln, just south of 30th and Yankee Hill Road.
93.7 The Ticket is Lincoln's home for Kansas City Royals baseball in 2026. Catch all the action as Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and a pitching rotation led by Cole Reagans try to lead the Royals back to the postseason. That's Kansas City Royals baseball all summer long. On the air in Lincoln at 93.7 The Ticket.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Hey everyone, this is Austin Orman from Old School with Foreman and Orman, live from 1040 O Street in the heart of downtown Lincoln, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. My favorite thing about downtown Lincoln has to be the year-round energy. Downtown Lincoln never stops. It's easy to get to, has everything you could need or want in dining, entertainment, and retail, and of course it has Lincoln's best sports talk, proudly located in downtown Lincoln on the corner of 11th and O.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
Is your air conditioner ready for the hot weather ahead? Get it checked now before you really need it. Call Bryant now to schedule your spring air conditioning service check. No matter what brand equipment you have, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean, inspect, and test to make sure it's ready to cool efficiently when hot weather hits. Stay cool and comfortable with air conditioning services from Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111 to schedule your AC check. Bryant, whatever it takes.
At DWE Generations, having a plan matters, especially when it comes to protecting what's most important. They work with individuals, families, and business owners to help make smart financial decisions that support life today and set the foundation for generations. David Darlington, Russell Walton, and Cody Eiler bring decades of experience, and their dedicated team provides follow-through, answering questions, explaining next steps, and staying connected as life evolves. DWE Generations, a generational wealth planning firm. DWE Generations is a marketing name for individuals doing business as representatives of Northwestern Mutual. Visit generations.nm.com or call 402-483-7871 and ask for David, Russell, or Cody.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement. There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all of the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Well, welcome back in. It is indeed Old School. Big thanks to Kevin Meyer, Meyer's Cork and Bottle, for sponsoring Thirsty Thursday, as he always does. 13th and South. Check out the shop. Get to know Uncle Kev. He'll hook you up, get you set up for all your liquor, alcohol needs. Appreciate Uncle Kev as always. Appreciate Graham Tire for their sponsorship of the show. This is Old School, brought to you by Graham Tire. Jay, the draft is over. Some team needs have been met, but maybe not all of them. Still a bunch of high-profile free agents out there waiting to be signed. We've had plenty of big deals already signed in free agency, but the top two guys that show on top of Spotrac's available NFL free agents, a pair of notable wide receivers, both of whom have played a decade in the league, Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs. Both are 32 years old, will play the vast majority, if not all of the season at 32 years old. Between those two guys, who do you think signs first and any potential landing spots for the two of them?
I think Stephon Diggs signs first, primarily because obviously he's healthy right now versus Tyreek Hill is still coming off of, the gruesome leg injury that he had. Both of them made around, 13, 14 million last year. So that's about the same what they'll, try to get, this year, maybe 10. For Stephon Diggs and Tyreek Hill is two different skill sets, right? And so you need, where Stephon Diggs is more of a 2 or a 3. Where he fits in at, to be honest with you, if his mind's right, he fits back in Houston.
Oh, yeah.
Again.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first place I'm trying to go back to. It was unfortunate that it didn't work out on that 1 year. I think he, I think that what he learned up there in New England, as far as what a championship mentality is, he's probably more ready for it now in Houston. I think he was trying to be this, the elder statesman and really, mentor some of the young guys in there. I think he did a decent job at that. That's the first place I think he goes. The other place he could possibly go, another team in the, AFC South. He could go to Jacksonville. He can go there. He could go potentially not a top choice. He could go to Indianapolis as well, play a role there, especially with Daniel Jones coming off of, his injury. You need a sure-handed third down receiver. He can play the slot. He can't be your number one. He can definitely be your 2. And I think less is more with him. If you keep his play count on average anywhere from 30 to 40, I think you're going to get the better version of Stephon Diggs versus, sometimes you're getting up in there at 50 to 60, 70 plays.
Indy came to mind for me too, not just because they're my team, but because this will be Alec Pierce's first year as the guy.
Yeah.
And I wonder if having a former the guy there in Stephon Diggs could help, again, if his mind is right. In terms of the NFC, I'm not so sure. Maybe Washington. I know Deebo Samuel's out the door, but do you want him and Terry McLaurin in the same room? I'm not necessarily sold on that.
Either one of them.
Yeah. So I like where you're coming from there. Then Tyreek Hill, who takes a chance on the name
City.
and off the. Okay.
I think Kansas City is where he needs to go. I think they know him. He knows them. I think he has a good rapport with Patrick Mahomes. I think it will help, free up Kelsey for some, much needed, relief as far as, who's covering him and then not being able to roll the coverage to him. And I think he's looking to finish out his career, on a positive note. And I think, that's a great place for him. I think the support system in Kansas City, being back in a smaller market, is the best thing for him. Him going to Washington or like the Rams or some, like a bigger market won't work out well for him. I don't think it would.
Few corners on the market: Marshawn Lattimore, Trevon Diggs, L'Jarius Sneed. Who are you taking to that bunch?
I'm taking Lattimore, man. I thought he was going to do really well for Washington last year. I think when healthy, and he was injured last year.
Yeah.
When healthy, he's a lockdown corner. He's still young enough to do so. You look at last year as kind of like a gap year. So he had, he was able to keep a lot of tread on his tires. And then next I would take Sneed just because, again, injuries have, hurt him. Then being, in Tennessee doesn't help, much. And, when things keep turning over, and then you get with a defensive coordinator that kind of, coaches or calls games kind of like Spags, you'll get the best version of Sneed. I like him.
At tight end, David Njoku or Jonnu Smith?
Oof.
Njoku saved my fantasy team one year.
I'll do Njoku. I'm surprised he didn't get a big deal.
Same.
Because he was pretty productive over his career.
How's his blocking?
It's okay.
Fine.
Nobody, it's
not why you're signing
average,
him,
right?
But yeah.
Can still run. If I'm in Njoku, who I think he would be great at? Green Bay.
Ooh, interesting. Okay,
I think their tight end was it Kraft.
Tucker Kraft.
Yeah, is
hurt.
coming back.
Mm-hmm.
but he is different because he's a vertical threat.
Oh, don't they have the Musgrove guy from Oregon State too? Musgrove.
Yeah, I think they might. But I think
But still,
Njoku can, and I think for Love not having a true, I don't think anybody I don't fear anybody in their wide receiver room.
No.
Right. So let's load up on tight ends.
But Stephon Diggs fit in Green Bay.
He would. I didn't even think about that. He would, and he'd be highly motivated.
You would think.
I mean, heck, to be honest with you, I don't know how he left. He could fit back in Minnesota opposite Justin Jefferson. He would be respected.
Yeah.
And you would have to respect Justin Jefferson as the dude.
You would?
But I think it would be good for Justin Jefferson to have somebody else in there that's on his level.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's a lot of really good, like you said, really good free agents. I mean, when you think of Jack Conklin, I mean, he's been 10 years in, but, one of the better right tackles when healthy in the league. Bitonio is a full-fledged savage. Houston Texans, you picked up the other guard, pick him up too. But obviously they drafted him. Aaron Rodgers, his thing is weird. Once you never use it. I mean, obviously he's going to be tied to Pittsburgh. Nobody really wants him besides Pittsburgh. Here's the one that's interesting to me: Joey Bosa.
Yeah.
When healthy, he was effective last year.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think if you use him in a lesser role like the Chargers do with Khalil Mack, I think, and he's healthy, I think he gives you what you need.
This is an interesting class of free agents at the edge. You mentioned Bosa. Hassan Reddick still out there on the market. Leonard Floyd, Danico Autry has had his moments. Yetur Gross-Matos, former Penn State guy that came into the league with a pretty high pedigree. You also keep scrolling down and you find Von Miller. Right, Von Miller, Cam Jordan, Tyquan Lewis, AJ Epinesa. There's a bunch of names out there.
Bobby Wagner, who was, I mean, obviously they drafted Sonny Styles, so that kind of hurts him. But again, if I'm Buffalo and I don't, my salary cap allows it, we need linebacker help. Both of their linebackers are 225 pounds. That's not going to work.
No.
If you haven't learned your lesson when you play Denver, obviously in the playoffs and all these other teams, it's not going to work. It's not going to work with those guys. Yeah, they can run and you can try to stop the pass, but you can't stop a nosebleed running the ball or, when they run the ball. Also, you're able to get maybe potentially like a DJ Reader who is one of the, if not the best, pure run stuffers. And he's really good at allowing those smaller linebackers to flow. You're looking at somebody to pair with Phillips and Ed Oliver up there. And it's got to be a rotation because, when it comes money time, Ed Oliver is going to be there. But DJ Reader is awesome at playing the position of defensive line. Here's the guy that I think Houston was going to miss if they didn't get Montgomery is Joel Mixon. Now, he has a weird foot injury, kind of been off the radar for well over a year.
Yeah.
Because he was hurt last offseason, didn't even get through training camp. He was the guy that really held that offense together through 4 offensive coordinators. It was him. And he's a guy that, should get picked up. I mean, this is Matt Milano, who played really well for Buffalo.
How much is left in the tank for him?
I mean, I think there's a lot left in the tank. Just physically, he's starting to work. But again, you're not protecting him with a big defensive line, Sean McDermott.
Sure.
So you have a small defensive line that can't stay healthy, a small middle linebacker that's playing in the middle, and he's more of a will run and hit, maybe stack Sam linebacker, playmaker in coverage, blitz backside. You know what I mean?
That you forced to be a middle.
You forced him in the middle, shoot your gun, tackles for losses, all that type of stuff. But then you put him in the middle, and his body wore down. I think I still like him going back, and I'm big on the pass rushers. Cam Jordan needs to go back to New Orleans or go somewhere. He definitely can come in and end up starting. Von Miller for sure too. I mean, these pro personnel guys, they need to really get on it. If you need a kicker, Graham Gano still can kick. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're talking Alex Kappa from the Raiders was one of the best guards when he was with Cincinnati. When they went to the Super Bowl, that's where they were actually. They're pretty good up the middle, horrible on the tackles. Mario Edwards, who played for Houston, does a really good job at a different role. A lot of these guys that might get picked, signed back, but they're going to be at reduced rates. DeAndre Hopkins, when Baltimore gave him chances, still productive.
Yeah.
I mean, Kyle Van Noy, 12, 13 years in the league, can do it all. Play middle linebacker, play outside linebacker, play will linebacker, can rush off the edge. Really good locker room guy. It's definitely a guy that I would be thinking about picking up. There's a lot of guys, if you're trying to make a championship run, you got really good human beings that are really good football players. These guys could pay off, tenfold if you're trying to make a championship run.
What's the mindset of a player right now? If you're still a free agent, you're still out there on the market at this point in the off season. What are you looking for in a team? Still looking for best fit, looking for, next opportunity at this point? Where's your mindset as a player at this point in free agency?
Well, you enjoying life right now. You're still working out every day. There's no rush. A lot of these guys, 10, 12 years, 8, 9 years in the league, you know exactly what it takes to be ready to play. And every defense out there, and you'll pick it up. So really, yeah, you'd like to be signed because you obviously, you're not going to probably play at the same paycheck that you were paid last year. But as long as there's some traction, and a lot of times the teams are saying, let's see what these mini camps look like. Let's see what these rookie mini camps look like. Then you'll see some movement. Right? You'll see a rush then. And you might even see like some, 2 or 3 year contracts, right?
Sure.
So you get some money. And then you get guys signed right before training camp. So really these guys are just waiting and if they're, healthy, they're just staying in, perfect shape. But if these guys are coming off injury like Marshawn Lattimore, you're making sure that you're coming back at, tip-top shape because you want to go in and prove yourself to try to get back in the big free agency market next year.
Lay out the schedule maybe for people that don't know what you're talking about in terms of rookie minicamp, then training camp for these rushes of players,
right,
potentially.
So it's like 3 different schedules. So the new coaching staff, at least from my memory, when they get in, they get a pre off-season minicamp, right? Kind of implement themselves, introduce the weight coaches and everything. You kind of, see what they get to see what they got. So, if your coach is getting fired or you thought he was getting fired, your offseason cut short because that's where you want to come in and establish yourself. Because how you perform, the draft is after that, right? So the draft happens. Then you get a rookie mini camp, right? And so that's where the rookies go. That's where the guys that are just invited to rookie mini camp to see if you'll be around for the offseason. And sometimes in rookie mini camps, you'll have guys that have been on injury reserve last year. Come in there and obviously go through that mini camp.
Like younger practice squad guys?
Younger practice squad guys. Guys that were, like at the bottom of the roster. You're kind of coming in, going against the rookies, letting the rookies get acclimated. Then there'll be the off-season program, which most likely the whole team would be there, majority of the team would be there. Then you have another, shorter mini camp along with some OTAs, which is essentially running and lifting, and you're going through somewhat of a simulated practice, but you're just running through plays, right? And then you get back into the off season workout, and then you generally have that June mini camp, which is huge. That one is the closest intensity to training camp before you get there, and it's so you'll see a little bit different in the rep counts. I would say this: rookie mini camp and the first mini camp and OTAs. If you got 3 guys on the depth chart, they're all split evenly. So if there's 12 plays or whatever, everybody's going to get 4. As you get longer in the off season, where you're at will be a direct correlation to where, how many plays you get in practice.
Yeah.
And so it goes by quick, but these guys get a true off season. They're not obligated to be there, like in the off season. I like being around in the off season. I felt like, look, I'm with their weight coach. I'm under their tutelage and I'm working hard. Most of my teammates were there, but these guys get a lot of time off in the off season. They have a true off season. They are off during the season. They are off during training camp and mini camps and 2-a-days. So matter of fact, they don't have 2-a-days. So a lot of these veterans waiting around, their off season really hadn't changed because they're all working out. You know what I mean? You don't have to really show up, and if you're an established veteran, until you have to be there for minicamp. You better come in shape though, because you got to weigh in and do your body fat and all that stuff.
There's a look at the NFL free agents. Played a little bit of matchmaker in the offseason calendar there with Jay Foreman. Nebraska basketball adds another commit. may or may not be invited to the barbecue. We'll tell Jay the name. We'll see if you get the invite or not. We'll tell you about the new commit for Nebraska men's basketball to wrap up hour 2 of Old School. Whole another hour coming your way at 5.
Seems like just the other day I was building my first house. I've seen many changes to our building market in Lincoln. It's been a fun road.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
You know, we hear this a lot where I don't want to live in a cookie cutter home. Well, let's come up with some answers on what we're going to build, where we're going to build it, and what it's going to cost. One thing that we started doing early on was we started building neighborhoods. I'm a firm believer in character in your street and in your neighborhood. I like choice. I like variation. I like maybe something a little bit different in a neighborhood that you don't see in every neighborhood. I think it's great to have choices, its uniqueness, and I think that's what gives a neighborhood character. And I think that's what we've done over the years.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Hey, this is Jay Foreman, the host of Old School, 3 to 6 p.m. here at 93.7 The Ticket. And one of my favorite things to do is come down and meet all the fans before and after as they cheer on our beloved Huskers.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
Let's fly. Your next trip starts at Lincoln Airport with American Airlines. Now flying nonstop service to Dallas, Fort Worth, and Chicago. American Airlines connects Lincoln to major hubs and destinations around the globe. Wherever you're headed, LNK gets you there with new nonstop flights on American Airlines.
Now boarding.
Convenient, fast, and stress-free. Book your next flight at LincolnAirport.com. LNK, make flying easy.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
This is Grant Wister. I played at Nebraska, and after football, I wanted to build something in Nebraska that I was genuinely proud of. Champ Roofing is that. We built the whole company around one idea: do the job right and treat people well. Roof replacements, inspections, gutters, siding, whatever you need, our team is going to show up, communicate with you, and handle it with real care. Nebraska homeowners deserve that. Visit us at champ-roofing.com or call 402-858-7449.
Graham Tire presents life's greatest adventures.
Okay, buddy, here we go. Just keep your eye on the ball. All right, just swing right through it. Yeah, good job. Way to go. Hey, run it out. Okay.
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
Want to make the easy call? Call John Henry's. From leaky pipes to a broken AC, flickering lights to furnace fights, even drains and duct cleaning, we've got it handled. Plumbing, heating, air, and electrical, all under one trusted roof. Proudly serving homes across Lincoln, Omaha, and surrounding areas, and ready 24/7. Visit calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
John just tried Runza's new Jam and Bacon Cheeseburger with its sweet heat bacon jam, pepper jack cheese, bacon, and cream cheese.
Whoa, this burger's like totally
What?
You know,
Not sure I'm getting it.
it's totally jammin'.
Ah, I see. Well, don't jam with your mouth full. Try the Jam and Bacon Cheeseburger. Because from the way we make it to the way it makes you feel, Runza makes it all better.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in to Old School. We'll wrap up hour 2 here on the stream. Royals end up falling 6-3 to the no longer Oakland, Sacramento, soon to be Vegas Athletics. And we will dump out a post game so we can get back on the radio dial for our 5 o'clock hour. As always, 402-464-5685. If you want to be a part of the show, would love to have you along for the ride here. Austin Orman, Jay Foreman with you. Jay, some late breaking news here for Nebraska men's basketball. One of their 2 final roster spots has been filled with the addition of Damon Wilkinson, a young man from DeSmet, South Dakota, was previously at South Dakota State, visited Nebraska earlier this week. At one point was on his way to Raleigh to visit North Carolina State, but announced on his Instagram that he will instead be taking his talents to Lincoln. Played 32 games for South Dakota State last year, was a part-time starter, started 19 of them, averaged 14, 6, and about 1.5 assists per game, shooting 59% overall, 72% from the free throw line, but notably not a three-point shooter. Only 1 attempt across his 2 years. Pretty traditional, forward center type for Nebraska. Not an archetype we've really seen for Fred Hoiberg.
Well, I like it. I mean, he's a true back to the basket, big man, big kid, 6'10", 245, so he's physical. Obviously, he's got to continue along the path of, getting Big Ten ready. But he definitely has, the foundation to be, kind of like a big part of this team and their success is because, as we talked about plenty, is that the biggest difference that you saw, or at least I saw, was when you got to the, Sweet 16 in advance, it was an inside presence. So I like it, 14-6 and was a half of the way starter. Lets you know he's very efficient, can get you buckets in and around the hoop. They'll expand his range. I think it's a good pickup for him. I think we kind of were waiting and we kind of lost out on a couple guys, but I think we got a true guy that's not going to, you got a 5 that's not going to try to play like a 3. You got a 5 that's going to play like a 5, maybe high-low. You can play in a 4. But I like this pickup. Provides some some size and strength, and I think it's going to be big for not only him but the rest of the guys that came in. Losing Joseph, the weight coach, for Nebraska, is going to sting a little bit. But I think it happened at the right time. You wish him all the luck. Whoever comes in has got to continue along the process to get this team bigger and stronger while maintaining their skill to compete at a high level.
Ken Pomeroy's numbers are a little different than what Sports Reference is showing. Ken Pom is showing Damon Wilkinson only playing in 29 games with 18 starts. But what stands out is that he was actually the highest usage guy on South Dakota State's team. Not the same caliber of squad for the Jackrabbits this year. They finished just 14-18. But a pretty high usage guy. I mean, usage rate of about 27.4%. Took 1 out of every 4 shots while he was on the floor. Good rebounder, though, Jay. A 20% defensive rebounding rate, a 10% offensive rebounding rate. Certainly sticks out. 4.3% block percentage. Would have been tops or close to tops on Nebraska's team last year. That's not an element that Nebraska's really had. Also a guy that got to the free throw line quite a bit. Drew 6 fouls per 40 minutes. Was a credible free throw shooter last year, going to 99 for 139, good for 71%. You mentioned stretching his range. This might be a 1 to 2 attempts per game from 3 kind of guy, but it's not his primary game. Maybe if he's left open, wide open, he'll be given the green light to knock it down. But a back-to-the-basket big man that draws fouls, that rebounds on both sides of the ball, will be able to, presumably provide something of a vertical lob threat. Goes a long way. Robin Washington of Husker Online points out that this is a young man that scored in double figures in his final 8 games and scored double figures in all but 1 game in Summit League play. Honorable mention, all Summit guy this past year as well. So a little bit different of an ad for Nebraska, but another frontline body to really compete with Leo Curtis, I think, for that rotational big man
Some
spot.
nice battles this summer or through their offseason, which obviously is now and moving forward when they really get together as a team. But I think it's going to be the interesting part how they, use him in this Fred Hoiberg system. I mean, obviously it's early in it has been heavy shooting, point guard play from Utah State kid or Utah Valley State kid, and then you got Frager, and obviously Orme, and then you got Price. Now you need some guys inside, and he probably has has a lot more experience than Curtis.
Yeah,
but he's actually going to help accelerate his growth though, because when you don't have somebody that doesn't play the same position as you and lives and dies by that position, it's hard to develop. So these two are going to look when they go 5-on-5 or whatever they do in their half court drills, 3-on-3, 2-on-2, 4-on-4, whatever they do, it's opposite, and we're got to get after it. And I think it's going to provide a different piece to Nebraska that we saw in very small bits and pieces. I keep going back to the Illinois game for Garcia, right? Yeah. Coming right off the bench. We need you. I think it was 4 or 6 quick points, and they were bully ball. You need that as an option. Like I said, back when Griesel was here, to get somebody on the block, make good decisions. I think that's going to be the biggest thing for him. We know he can score. Look, if you're honorable mention all summit and you hardly even start and you score in double digits all the time, what it lets me know, you clean up on the boards, you're active without the basketball, you're efficient around the hoop, and you make good decisions.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is for him is you're going to play against bigger and longer competition, in practice and then out through the league or out through league play. It's going to be decision making and how effective you are when you make those decisions, right? And what I mean by that is the double team that maybe came in Summit League, say it took 2 seconds. You're going to have to make it. It's kind of like a quarterback and they have those beepers.
Yeah.
Okay. 3 seconds less, you got to get it out of there. And then you got to make your decision, and then you got to work within the offense. But they do a good job of, kind of getting guys situated and playing to their strengths, and that's what you expect from Fred and those guys. He's just got to accept it. And there'll be games where he'll play a big factor, for sure.
The non-shooting aspect is something that stands out to me a little bit different than we've seen from what Nebraska's wanted in its big men before. I'm not necessarily concerned about that, as that changeup, as that late shot clock, dump it down into the post and see what happens kind of guy. Probably more comfortable with his back to the basket maybe than Rink Mast was at times. Mast was fine, but I thought there were some times last year Rink Mast looked a little off, even in the post. I think this Damon Wilkinson probably a little bit more natural down on the block,
free flowing.
Yeah,
not so much calculated.
Yes,
you get what I'm saying.
Yes.
I think he's
not formulaic,
right? I think he knows just by how he plays. When you coach post players, you always tell them to read the nose. If you turn over your right shoulder, just need the nose and you spin back. I think that's just more natural to him. I think it was a great curveball though when they used Rink in there, and then when he was really moving and grooving and felt good, it looked a lot different, and it was very, very effective. That's where I think he's got to make hay. Yeah, and you got to stick with it though.
Yes,
it might be some tough sledding, right? At any point in time, you might run into a little bit of some muddy waters in the non-con. You got to stick with it. This is a long-term, hopefully, investment, and he should be elated right now to be this late in kind of like the portal time to get into a situation like this. It's good for both parties if it works out.
I'm going to be really curious to see what Nebraska does rotationally, because as of now, you would slot Wilkinson in off the bench. Maybe he battles with Bowden Kapke for that starting spot, but I know the coaching staff likes Bowden Kapke's ability to step out and at least shoot the three at a somewhat credible level for a big man. But then coming off the bench, presumptively, you'd have Nebraska throw Cale Jacobson out there, who's a developing shooter. Numbers and percentages look fine, but not a high volume guy. DeGorville coming off the bench as well, about a 34% guy last year for San Diego State. And then Wilkinson, who didn't shoot any threes at all. Can he play the 4 in some lineups? Is he just a backup 5? Is it between him and Curtis? And who does Nebraska cycle into the games with him? because, Jay, for an offense that's built on pace, not necessarily, getting up and down the court, but keeping rhythm, keeping spacing, you can afford one non-shooter on the court like Berke Buchtengel last year.
Yeah.
2, you got to get creative. And 3, that's when you really run into some issues like Nebraska did in 24-25. So I'll be curious to see how Nebraska is able to stagger minutes and what kind of lineup combinations those 3 presumptive top bench guys in Jacobson, DeGorville, and now Wilkinson find themselves in, and how often they play together versus separated.
Yeah, we could maybe jump on this at the top of the 5 o'clock hour, but I wonder if I think that we have better shooting right now
than last year.
Yes.
Okay.
If everybody stays the same, let's just say Price is the same. Just he's going to get better. Just say whatever percentage better.
Mhm.
Frager gets maybe time and a half better just by playing.
Okay.
Or me,
Mhm.
right? And then the point guard from Utah Valley State, you figure that he can shoot as good or maybe a little bit better than Sam.
Mhm.
So what I'm saying is, if you have back to the basket guys, if they're efficient if their range can get to 15 feet to 18 feet consistently, and it might be
elbow
like
jumper,
the elbow jumper, 1 or 2 dribbles, get inside the lane, paint touches. I used to call him Sherman Williams.
Yes, sir.
Sherman Williams. You can get into the paint. I think it doesn't hurt you as much.
Agreed.
And now those guys got to shoot it. Those guys got to deliver it. And then it has to be vice versa. The better that you're able to feed the post and play through the post. Right now, look, Fred knows way more basketball than I do. I'm just going off what I see and what we faced. The more that you can play through the post, I think it improves if our shooters shoot like they're capable of. And especially with the way that he's able to mastermind some stuff. You never know. Fred, if you're listening, man, give me a heads up if I know what I'm talking about. I'll just be a little consultant. I just want just a couple steaks.
I'm guessing the next chance that we will have to talk to Nebraska men's head basketball coach Fred Hoiberg will be in 4 weeks from tomorrow when we are out at Give to Lincoln Day. Rumor has it that just like last year, Fred Hoiberg and the Nebraska men's basketball team may or may not be involved. So
if he's there, we're going to ask him.
We will, straight up.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to do
I'm
that.
Say, Fred, we need a little bit more pistol action over there and see. I just want to see his face.
Let's see it. Let's go to break. He's Jay Foreman. I'm Austin Norman. More Nebraska basketball chatter ahead and plenty more final hour of Old School on a Thirsty Thursday.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you looking for something different for lunch or dinner in Lincoln? Big 8 is now open at 1226 P Street, serving seafood boils and Asian cuisine. Get your hands messy with fresh, flavorful seafood boils, hot, cold, and made to share. Or enjoy classic Chinese and Asian dishes, perfect for lunch, dinner, or a night out with friends and family. Big flavors, generous portions, and a brand new dining experience. Big 8, now open in Lincoln.
I'm Dr. Jeremy Hosai, candidate for the University of Nebraska Board of Regents. Husker athletics has never been stronger. Let's champion the same mindset across our entire university: academics, research, and opportunity. As a neurosurgeon, former regent, and proud Husker, I'm running to stand up for NU's future because this matters to my family and yours. On May 12th, vote Dr. Jeremy Hosai for regent, for our students, for our future, and for Nebraska.
The one and only Monster Jam. Big air, backflips, and all-out racing. See the world's best drivers tear up the dirt in your favorite Monster Jam trucks. The fun begins at the pit party, where you can meet the drivers, get autographs, take pictures, and see the trucks up close. Get your pit party pass at monsterjam.com today. Must have valid event ticket to enter pit party. Restrictions may apply. Rules and activities are subject to change. Visit website for event details. Coming to Pinnacle Bank Arena this Saturday and Sunday.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a slight chance of showers. Otherwise, partly sunny skies to be breezy. The high near 62. Tonight, mainly clear skies and light winds. A low around 36. And tomorrow, some morning frost. Otherwise, mainly sunny skies, light breeze. The high near 61. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flex for 93.7 The Ticket and ticketfm.com.
Mother's Day is on Sunday, May 10th. Do you know what you're getting your mom this year? Stop procrastinating and get her the one thing she wants, a massage. The Body Shop in Lincoln offers all sorts of massages. All you have to do to win this Mother's Day is get Mom a gift card from The Body Shop. Swedish massages, deep tissue massages, hand and foot massages, and so much more. Buy your mom a gift card today at thebodyshoplincoln.com or stop by their office at 56 The Known.
Are you craving the ultimate game day experience? Red Zone Sports Bar and Grill has your front row seat. Dive into delicious wings, juicy burgers, and frosty drinks, all served up with TVs covering every inch of the walls so you'll never miss a play. Stop in for their incredible daily specials like $3 tall boys on Mondays, 5 wings for less than $6 on Wednesdays, and $20 beer buckets on Fridays. Red Zone Sports Bar and Grill right by the Lincoln Airport at 3111 Northwest 12th Street.
At Schwezo Construction, safety isn't just a policy, it's a promise. Build with us. Work safe, go home proud. We're hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, and steel erectors who value quality work and a team that has your back on and off the job site. If you're ready to be part of a company where your safety and success come first, visit Schwezo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com and apply today. Schwezo Construction, 40 years strong and still building the future.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln. This is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln. Your tire store next door with 4 Lincoln locations. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, we're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, Old School, 1040 O Street. We are brought to you by Graham Tires, serving the Midwest for 75 years. 4 locations here in Lincoln. Look them up. They just hooked my boy Austin up today. Hooked me up about a month ago, and we are riding dirty in the clean city of Lincoln. Old school to new school way. We appreciate their support. Look them up, Graham Tire of Lincoln. Tell them we sent you here, and they'll hook you up. Austin, we'll just jump all over the place here. You know, obviously we talked a little bit of Nebraska basketball, baseball, and softball are doing the dang thing on the cusp of hosting double, I guess, regionals. So that'd be really good. So you almost one of those things you want to talk about it, but you don't want to because you want to just let them keep on keeping on.
Mm-hmm.
Gus Mohawk texted in. He has a pretty interesting question. We'll open it up to the text line, and me and you lead the conversation as we go. He had a random question. Would you, as a Husker fan, this is probably to you, I guess I'm a fan, but I'm alumni first, rather Nebraska basketball win a title or Nebraska baseball win a title? He thinks winning a College World Series in Omaha would be epic. That you got to take that out of it because
see, I don't think you can. Why would you take it out of it?
Because I'm all about winning.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter where we play, and that's an advantage for you. It's not an even playing field question. Because of course it would be.
Well, okay, but here's where the playing field evens out.
Right.
I'll get there. First of all, do you think Miami's apologizing for winning any natties in the Orange Bowl?
No.
Should they?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they should.
Maybe one.
They need to
maybe
get one
two.
back to Nebraska.
Yeah, maybe one. Okay, we on all that one, but that's part of the deal.
Yeah.
That's part of the allure of being able. You think Oklahoma softball and Oklahoma State softball are complaining
I get your
about
point.
winning it there? No, it's the fact that you haven't made it home field advantage is wildly unfortunate and kind of a missed opportunity, even if it makes sense given the predominance and the prevalence of SEC, ACC, Big 12, yada yada baseball, Southern baseball at the very least. What counterbalances the Omaha factor, the winning at home in front of, what would probably end up being about 50 million
Millions of
Husker
people, yeah.
fans in the stadium, on the street, outside, all over downtown, is that you still get more publicity, you still get more money and such for winning March Madness. To survive and advance through a baseball bracket is incredibly
It's
difficult.
grueling, yeah.
Basketball, the one-off nature of it is still more random. Nebraska basketball has been to depths that Nebraska baseball hasn't. I think that Nebraska basketball winning a national championship would be darn near the equivalent of Indiana football winning the championship.
Probably,
Maybe not
yeah.
perfect, but close.
Yeah.
Nebraska baseball winning the College World Series would be, I don't know the best one, like trying to think through it, like made a Final Four, like Oregon basketball winning a championship. They've been there, they've been good
around,
before.
consistently been around.
You don't think of them for that sport necessarily.
Yeah.
They're maybe more invested in it than some other teams in that area, but it's not necessarily their go-to. Both would be incredibly meaningful. My guess is that the baseball should be more attainable, but after this last year, maybe basketball is more attainable. They made it, a third of the way. They could have made it halfway, through 3 games. They were,
Final Four,
5 minutes away from making it halfway there with one try. So I think if Nebraska were to win either one of them in the next, call it 10 years, you don't give either of them back. And then whichever one you quote unquote prefer, I think depends on, where your stronger rooting interest lies.
For me, it would be basketball. Just they've been in the depths of hell. I think I guess the only asterisk is, could you find a team that can be extremely old like Indiana football to do so? That's going to be hard to do because Indiana, being old, still had the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yeah.
Still had a first round pick at Cooper. Still had a 4th round pick in their wide receiver. Still had a 5th round pick in their tight end. They still had really good players.
So let's game that out for Nebraska basketball then.
Yeah, but you'd have to have
Price Sanford lottery.
Yeah.
Trevin Lenhart would have to play his way into like 2nd round contention.
Yeah.
And then between Kapke, Frager
would have to be a late 1st round, 2nd
round guy, and then Orm, Kapke, and maybe one more bench guy would have to go play in Europe.
And be significantly contributing.
Yeah, is essentially the equivalent,
right?
Mm-hmm.
But in baseball, I feel like with the amount of scholarships you're able to get, I think you can do it. I wouldn't say easier, but it's more attainable now.
I think it's easier for baseball to set itself up for the best chance at a national championship more consistently, just by virtue of what the Big Ten Conference is and is not in basketball compared to baseball.
Yeah, and the Nebraska does a really good job of traveling, and in that way they're not caught by, surprise, shocked by, seeing down south teams. Where I think that when you look at Nebraska, when we played Texas A&M the first time, or a few years ago, I think the first 16 minutes or whatever, it was like, whoa, these dudes are sending stuff out of there that normally was going through the hoop. So I think it'd be good. It's a good problem to have. It's a great argument to have. The bigger question is this.
Let me add before we move on to the bigger
All right.
one. If you can pick a city for Nebraska basketball to win a title in,
Kansas City. We've seen it. Now, you normally would say Oklahoma's a Kansas City.
well, I mean, OKC's not the championship
No.
rotation.
Kansas City?
You're thinking
Chicago?
like
Chicago.
Chicago's been out of the rotation. You're like Indy, Minneapolis, Vegas,
Minneapolis. It's not even a
Houston,
question. Minneapolis.
Atlanta, New
Minneapolis.
Orleans, the MPLS.
Yeah. Everybody can drive. Minneapolis. We take over Minneapolis.
Minneapolis
Just imagine Nebraska.
would be so full circle after Nebraska Xavier.
I know.
Think about
the history.
Think about
You
I mean,
could bring
getting
back
that
that whole
whitewash.
team.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Don't worry. We got you.
We got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is how we do it.
Yeah.
I just think proximity,
Mm-hmm.
getting up there.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, the bigger question now.
If they could go Sweet 16 Kansas City, championship Minneapolis, it'd be you could do a movie.
Of course, the potential path for Nebraska basketball this year is Omaha, Kansas City, Detroit.
I don't mind Detroit. It'd be cool. I've been in Detroit. Now I definitely ain't going to All-Star Cafe. Well, I like Detroit a little bit. Here's the bigger question. Here's the bigger question. Matter of fact, before we get to the question, because since we got time, we're going to read off Zach. He has a texted in. Appreciate you texting in, Zach. He says, high school talent in Nebraska for baseball could support most of the championship team. That's not true in basketball. That is 100% true.
Which is still funny to think about given roster sizes.
In baseball?
Well, and in basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think you could find 7 D1 dudes between
we don't have enough
4
time.
from Omaha, 2 from Lincoln, and 1 from...
We don't have enough time to talk about the basketball in Nebraska.
Yeah. But baseball is well established.
Yeah, baseball is on another level. And the things that I hate about baseball is the things that are some of the same things I love about baseball, because it allows talent in Nebraska to show through, shine through. And the things I don't like about baseball has nothing to do with Nebraska baseball. It has to do with the how the sport of baseball has not invested in stuff to grow the game, right? And then you're wondering why we don't have any homegrown kids that we can really hang our hat on. Now you can say that in basketball too, right? The things that European club teams and pro teams have invested in have came back to bite us in the butt. Just look at the games tonight. Joker might be as slow as me going up and down the court. Is straight up and unstoppable when you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now my bigger question is this. Now we asked, what would you give up for a football national championship? The bigger question is, what would you rather have? Because I think now everybody's bandwagon on the basketball and baseball and all that, right? And kind of like, the football team is whatever. But what would you rather have?
It's got to be the football one. I think people have forgotten what this place is like when football is legit, and especially nationally. I mean, we hear the jokes, we know the tropes, we know the narrative. For there to be a Nebraska football team that ever came through and even if it's a one-off and it's the only one you see for another 30 years or 50 years, whatever you say, football is still football.
Right.
And for there to be a Nebraska team that would come in with enough talent, enough drive, enough motivation, discipline, whatever you want to call it, enough luck, get enough bounces, created some and took advantage of others to win a football national championship, I would be scared in the best possible way about what this town and what these conversations would look like.
Boy, and if you wanted some followers on social media, you just say something bad about Nebraska and your followers would be up. Now, here's the second part of it. Let's just say right now, football's taking a backseat right now to basketball, volleyball, just every sport ever, right? You could say baseball, softball, right now, right? Everybody.
Well, let me run this by you. I think football is still driving the family minivan, but it lets someone else pick the music.
But you're not understanding. Everybody is like, look at these guys, right? It's like the new car, right? But that Jeep over there hadn't let you. It's still rolling, right? Still.
Well, yeah, but instead of letting Dad dominate the conversation, you're letting the kids in the back seat.
Yeah, but they're actually they're balling.
They are.
Okay. Would you give up all those successes? That means your volleyball team, right? The national powerhouse. Not give it up to where they're at the bottom of the bottom, but where you go from like number 1 down to like 15, 16, 20.
Your tournament team,
but you're not even a factor.
Mm-hmm.
Do you take would you be willing to give up the basketball team going back to year 1 or something like what Coach Fred?
What if we said like 1 tournament every 10 years or 2 tournaments every 10 years?
That's fine.
Okay.
Would you give up that? And all of them go take significant steps back just for 1 national championship for football?
I would not.
And that's
purely financially, I think you would, but I don't think so.
It wouldn't be worth it?
I don't think it would be worth it.
That's a huge
for
question.
One?
Sean and DeWitt says he's a wrestling fan, and then Unknown Texas said don't mess with the volleyball program.
For one. I mean...
For one. You're not winning multiple championships no more.
So what are you, Michigan then?
Michigan will be in the hunt again. But yeah, okay, yeah, that's a perfect example. Yeah, will you give up? Will you sell your soul for the championship? 1 national title. And your fandom. In your fandom of when you really care about the Husker football, would you give up anything and everything for 1 championship?
I don't think I could do that. I have seen my second collegiate basketball love win 2 titles in my rooting lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen my football team, my pro football team win 1 and play for another. I've seen my pro baseball team win 1 and play for another. I have no idea, no recollection, no basis for what a national championship caliber Nebraska football team looks like.
I know.
I have nothing to base it off of.
Exactly. That would make it even more appealing because you have no. You ever seen when that dude that was it? Mark Rolfing talked about when all those deals that you say, oh, yeah, I want to play with Tiger Woods, and he's like, you have no effing idea.
I have no effing idea.
All these guys are like, yeah, I want to play with Tiger. I want to get. And then he won it in 19, and these were like, I've never seen anything like that before. That's exactly what it would be like if you won a national championship. It would obliterate anything that you ever seen before. It would be pure pandemonium.
Does Nebraska would winning a college football playoff championship guarantee Nebraska a spot in the Super League? Probably. But does Nebraska need to win a championship to guarantee itself a spot in the football Super League? Because I think if you tie it to that, if you tell me that Nebraska football needs to win a title, they're so close to being kicked down to League 2 or whatever.
Oh, so you
that
got
they need a title for enough, points or whatever to put them over the edge to be in the Super League. You probably pull the trigger on the football championship. But if Nebraska is, even if they're in the last 10 into the Super League, you can't give up all those other programs.
I see your point. But if I have to play perfect to get into the Super League, I was like, go back down to the little one, then earn it. I'm just asking, Austin, because I know you're young. You don't know what it's like.
I admitted as much.
Right. I know when you watch the tapes. I know what you young guys are thinking. When you guys are like, these dudes ain't really that good. Nah, they were really that good. But the way, because I think this new age fan, right, the young ones, because you see it that's why that they're able to have more volleyball seats and all that. Look, when you're winning, that's what they want to do. They want to be in the mix. And then when it's football, it's just that means that much more. Not taking anything away from anybody else, but I just think it was just, and you haven't done it in so long. I mean, it's what, 99? Whenever they went to and they played Miami?
01.
01?
Mm-hmm.
And say it happens in 31. It's 30 years. Built up frustration. How old will you be in 2031? How old will you be?
I will be 33 by the time.
Yeah.
Well, so will they 31 season or 31 championship? So it would be 31 championship.
Yeah.
Then in that case, I would be 32 going on 33.
Yeah. So pretty much your whole life.
Mm-hmm. I was in the oven when you guys beat Tennessee.
Right.
So.
And then you get to experience it.
Yeah.
That means you still. I don't know how old I'll be.
Here's the other part I'll throw in on that is that when I was a kid, I don't know if there's anything I wanted to do more than play Husker football. Like that's what we built our Saturdays around. Still do in different ways. My relationship with that program has changed dramatically. Part of it, by hazard of the job. Part of it by growing up. The two teams that I will never drop my rooting interest for: Nebraska Athletics and the Kansas City Royals. I could be talked out of at gunpoint some of the other ones, but I'm not losing
either.
Maybe at gunpoint. I don't know.
You would Duke Blue. I mean,
but here's the point: is that I'm born here, raised here,
right?
Spent my entire childhood growing up rooting for these teams, and I admit that I'm somewhat jaded. I don't know how I would react if Nebraska football won a national championship. Some of my friends, my buddies, guys my age, that are outside of the media sphere, probably lose their minds, cry, run naked down the street. I don't know what they do. I don't control them, but they do something pretty drastic, I think. It just still means so much to them. When I say it doesn't mean that much to me, or it wouldn't.
Right.
Like sitting there on press row for Nebraska basketball, a team that I didn't root for as hard growing up as I did Nebraska football, watched them, rooted for them, hoped they would win. But Nebraska basketball didn't mean as much to me growing up as Nebraska football did.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sure there's a piece of that still stuck somewhere down in my cold, dead Nebraska football heart that just hasn't been activated. But maybe it's not there anymore. Maybe just be, oh my gosh, they did it. What does this mean? And I'm in full content mode, not full fan mode. And part of that's growing up. Part of that's the hazard of the job. But I don't think a Nebraska football championship would hit like crack the same way it would have when I was 10 to 16 years old.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I always wonder what, I think fans have certain expectations, right? And the fans don't need to understand this, but I think when you have, from an athlete, when you have expectations, then you have obligations or you have to have sacrifices.
Yeah.
And now granted, there are programs out there that are really, really competitive in every single sport that they have, both men and women. But you just wonder with some of these fans, like with the blind expectations, right? And when we get into the next one, I want to ask, is the expectations of the football team too much or too little? But I think when if you ask a fan, because it's easy to sit over there and point, say, this is what you guys need to do. Granted, we appreciate you pay your money, but have these expectations. But if you flip it, okay, what are you willing to give up? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, if you say like a fan, is a vapor, will you be willing to give up vaping for 2 years or until we win one? 5 years? Right now, cold turkey? You know what I'm saying? Because you always now, granted, they'll never be put in that position, but you always wonder what they would do because that tells you a lot of the mindset based on the fans. Because if they're not willing to give up anything themselves for the team's success, they're really not fans.
Yeah.
No, I'm not telling anybody to go do that.
And yet every year I look at myself in the mirror and wonder how I can be a better person and get my teams over the hump. It hasn't worked yet.
But you're invested.
I am.
Right. But a lot of them aren't invested. They're invested when it's convenient. And convenience doesn't happen in sports.
They're motivated, not disciplined.
Exactly. There it is.
I've been
That's
listening.
the Nick Saban isms. We're going to take a quick break, come back. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman. We'll talk about expectations. Does the expectations, are they raised now since the $600 million Big Red rebuild is not in effect yet, but will be very soon? Or are the expectations too low considering that you look at the schedule? Should you pimp yourself out of standards or crank up the standards? Jay Foreman, Austin Norman. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Graham Tire presents life's greatest adventures.
Okay, buddy, here we go. Just keep your eye on the ball. All right, just swing right through it. Yeah, good job. Way to go. Hey, run it out. Okay.
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. And wow, what a great spring it has been here. We've had record sales happening at Koppel. And to show our appreciation, Koppel is giving out employee pricing on select new models. Yes, you heard that right. Employee pricing is happening right now at Koppel on select new models. So please stop on in the store and see the team or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Some rebates to dealer.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a slight chance of showers. Otherwise, partly sunny skies to be breezy. Behind your 62. Tonight, mainly clear skies and light winds, a low around 36. And tomorrow, some morning frost. Otherwise, mainly sunny skies, light breeze. Behind your 61. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flex for 93.7 Ticket and ticketfm.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more. Sandhills Global is growing right here in Lincoln. With our expanding campus and continued growth, we're hiring across a wide range of careers, from interns to experienced professionals. Join the team at Sandhills Global and build your career with competitive pay, great benefits, and real opportunities to grow. Visit sandhills.jobs to view openings and apply today. That's sandhills.jobs.
The University of Nebraska Rodeo Association is excited to announce the 2026 Nebraska Cornhusker College Rodeo. Come on out to Sandhills Global Event Center May 1st and 2nd. Cheer on the University of Nebraska Rodeo team as they take on teams from all across the Great Plains region. Friday is college night, and Saturday afternoon, kids attend free with purchase of adult GA ticket at the door. Advance tickets on sale now at sandhillsglobaleventcenter.org. Don't miss the Nebraska Cornhusker College Rodeo, May 1st and 2nd.
Right now in Lincoln, neighbors are facing hunger and homelessness, and they need our help. Your donation to Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach for Give to Lincoln Day helps provide nutritious meals, safe shelter, and life-changing support. Your gift goes even further thanks to matching funds from the Lincoln Community Foundation. Working together, we can make our community stronger by ensuring that everyone has access to nutritious food and a safe place to sleep at night. Give to Matt Talbot today or anytime through May 28th at givetolincoln.com.
Looking for something fun tonight? Axe throwing, local beer, and great vibes are waiting at Arbor Axe House. From casual nights out to celebrations and team events, it all starts here. Reserve a lane today at arboraxe.com. Arbor Axe House at the corner of N Street and Antelope Valley.
Old School with Foreman and Orman.
Here's the question. How far up the list of all-time greats can Price Sandfort climb? Can he be a top 10 Husker in just 2 years when it's all said and done?
Ooh, that'd be tough, man. You talking about some dudes, man.
Talking about some dudes, but he's one of them.
Top 15, maybe. Top 10 be hard. It'd be hard.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back. Jake Foreman, Austin Orman, second segment, 5 o'clock hour, moving it along, talking about standards and expectations. Sometimes some outside factors change those, or some of your decisions raise those or lower them. The question is that there's two, obviously, with the New Big Red rebuild. Do the expectations for the football team go higher or lower? Or the second kind of like, I guess, in conjunction is that are the expectations too high or too low for the football team? Now, I guess it obviously depends on who you ask and what your viewpoint is and what your basis points. If you're basing your standards expectations, or mainly your expectations, which are more emotionally driven, off of what somebody else is doing, meaning another team, then it's wrong. If it's off your standards, right? If you have like 6 core standards that you have that when you want to see your football team play, then and that will kind of like lower or raise your expectations. Then that's probably a more rational place to come from. And that's where I think people kind of miss the boat.
Yeah, that's fair. I said this with Nebraska basketball, and I think it can apply to Nebraska football as well. Why can Iowa do it? Why can Illinois do it? That's got to be the starting point. Now, not the end goal, right? But I think the next stop for Nebraska is, can you be that, Bo Pelini era program, if you want to phrase it that way? You're in the hunt where, since you're in the Big Ten already, we know the Big Ten and the SEC, if you're 9-3 and you have a quality win, maybe 2 in there, you're in consideration.
You're in the mix.
Do you get the same amount of consideration that 9-3 Alabama did 2 years ago when they got booted by SMU when Clemson won that pop-up ACC title in the championship game? No, probably not quite as much, but you're at least, top 18, maybe top 15. And I think that's a good
bowl game.
Right. And I think that's a good place to start. If Illinois can do it, if Iowa can do it, if Minnesota's had a year like that, if Wisconsin was going to Rose Bowls consistently, why can those programs figure it out, but not you? I know they're not the same place, but you played in the same division for a while. People will lump you in with them in terms of region and geography. If those schools can do it, Nebraska should be able to do it. And then, as well as I do, 2014 playoff is around the corner. I mean, you got to be a top 30 team every year.
Yeah.
It's a shame. It's too bad that Nebraska hasn't been in the conversation for top 12, in the 12-team playoff era. But the 2014 playoff should feel relatively automatic for Nebraska. Maybe miss it by a game or 2 here or there if you lose your marquee game and someone wins theirs. But by the time you get to 24, Nebraska ought to be in that thing, 8 out of every 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, at 24, that I think that changes your expectations, right? And obviously your standards should never change, but with 24, that's twice as many teams. Feels like if you're closely meeting your standards, you definitely would be in the mix and almost, I wouldn't say a shoe-in every year for it, but definitely in strong consideration. And it's an odd year if you're not making it, right? And then you're trying to figure out, what are the big or small things you need to change that to get right back into it the next year. I think, I was referring to, Indiana and Kirk Cignetti. There is things you need to see, okay, well, what is this process or what did he do to come in to really lessen the learning curve, right? And everybody can say, bring the guys from JMU. Well, you had an old team both years. So that obviously you want to have older players that know how to play. Now, I think there's there's 2 ways you bite off the apple. Try to go in the portal, try your luck, get old, and then allow the young guys to get, hopefully they mature like overnight so you don't have to do it every year in and year out. Or do you take a little bit more slower process? But I think when you do the slower process, it cannot be confused with being okay with losing. Another question I would pose to the text line. You mentioned Bo Pelini. 9-3, get blown out the 3 losses. We experienced that a little bit this year. Because 9-3, 7-5 you're kind of all the same. You got the 3 last losses weren't very, weren't appealing to the eye. Would you be okay with that year in and year out? Because that's what kind of fried Bo Pelini. Now there was other things, but that was it. Now you look back on it with more fond memories than not. Or do you want to maybe push the pedal down a little bit more this year and accelerate the growth process? With no guarantee now that this is a guarantee Thursday.
Guarantee.
There's no guarantee that you will get over the mountaintop. You could take the short-term fix with no chance of getting consistently into that 24. Now you'll get there, but there's no guarantee.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So are you telling me that Nebraska goes 9-3 with blowout losses to 3 of the 4 of Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State, and Iowa.
This year?
Yes. You win one of those 4, you get blown out the other 3. Is that what you're giving me?
Yeah, you'd be 9-3.
Only for this year? No guarantees for anything in 27 and beyond?
Well, it'd be the same thing for year in and year out. You could be 9-1 and get blown out your last 2 games. Or you could go and get to the Big Ten championship and get smooth broke off.
Seen that happen before.
Right. But would you be happy with that?
I think you would.
as a fandom.
I think it would be a great step in the right direction, even if it's just for 1 year. Because if you show me you can do something, you show me that you've been able to, and you should be able to do it again. So, yeah, if you give me 9-3, even with 3 high-profile blowouts, it's going to be, oh, hey, they do have a little more ceiling in them than we thought. And then if it happens again next year, or maybe Nebraska comes back to earth a little bit, might be a better team at 7-5, but the results, don't go their way, or 8-4, a game different. I think the big issue with the Bo Pelini thing is that just became the glass ceiling. I would think that, there are programs that would be able to find their way to break through that ceiling, if you spend 5, 6, 7, 8 years bumping into it. But when's the last time, Houston basketball won a championship?
Right.
Or Gonzaga basketball won a championship? The football examples I could think of, how long did Clemson bump its head? How long did Georgia bump its head? But those programs found a way
to break through.
To break, not go around, not take shortcuts, but exactly to break through,
that was a
Ole Miss, recently.
That was a long process, though.
Yeah. Texas, somewhat recently, right?
Yeah.
Kind of Oregon, another really good example. Now, those are teams that are 10-2 or better most years, not 9-3 with 3 blowouts, and generally competitive in their losses with maybe a stinker here or there. So if you tell me Nebraska gets into that category over the next 5 to 10 years, I sign up for that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I mean, it's to be consistent where Georgia and them at that's going to take one special class, one special year, but it's going to have to be built the right way in the meantime, as that went on. I think the worst thing you can do is just go around and look at people's records and then look at yours. Like, why can't we do that? The best thing a fan can do is really start watching and understanding how these teams are winning, and if that fits your standard of football, what you want to see, right? Or what you think the university, because when you think about the football teams, right? Just I'm just trying now, as I'm saying this, I'm thinking about all the teams, right? They're really just replicate the state that they're in, right? Like, let's just think about it. Like Minnesota. I grew up there. Big dudes, people, Paul Bunyan dudes up there. Where Minnesota's offense and defense, like big, and they kind of run at you and kind of real close to the vest, right? You think of Michigan, like their team. They're more like the tough frat dudes that, probably have personal trainers and stuff, really good, got good athletes and all that. And then they won, and then they're rubbing it in your face. But then you look at Michigan State, right? They kind of embody East Lansing. So if that's where your standards come from, then you're like on the right track. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think Nebraska, and this has this way back, I think they got away from the standards. And we were running the option, won 80 million games, however many national championships.
But you didn't get 80 million in one, so.
Right. But then it's like, okay, we go and play against one of the greatest teams of all time. Same way Tennessee played us, or they play one of the greatest teams of all time. And we decided to be USC here. And I don't think the fans, which lead those type of changes, right, understood or understand the magnitude of some of those decisions. And so now you're in present day playing against teams that play football like you used to play football. So that's why I asked about the standards, because standards are, Same way coaches say, I want to be tough, I want to be fast, I want to be physical, I want to be efficient. All that stuff they can do through their thing. That's no different than a fan, because if you don't think the Miami Hurricanes embody the city of Miami, you're crazy. You get what I'm saying? And so,
do they always, or do they when they're at their best?
When they are playing the way they should. So when they're at their best, or when they're competitive, or when they're Miami, when they're I wouldn't say their fans are ever satisfied with losing, but when they're actually like they're like they're okay with the way they're playing. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're playing like that. They're embodying the city, because the city makes the team. The fans make the team. The standards make the team. The players know those standards, so that's what they live up to every day. It's not just in the building. It's what you do for that dude across the street that's working 3 jobs to come watch. You get what I'm saying? There is that's where your obligation is. To yourself, your family, your teammates, and all that. It becomes bigger than you. So as a fan base, you have to understand your standards versus your expectations / emotions, because emotions change. You've seen it. We've seen it down around here. We beat Houston Christian by 80,000 points. We're back. We played Michigan. We're horrible. Fire everybody.
Oh, but only lost by 1 possession, though.
Right. But still, we lost. We're horrible. Same old thing. Right? Now, here's where the standard actually started to come into people's minds, but they didn't even know it. It was more expectations, because they were emotionally invested because we were on TV. Was how we played against Minnesota. Right? It was a little bit of both. We did the post-game show. It was a little bit of standard, right? Was they fast, physical? Did they look like, you know what I'm saying? But then some were like, we were on TV, we were embarrassed. We didn't look like, you know what I mean? It was all emotional. I'm embarrassed because I thought I drove up to the game. It became individual based.
Yeah.
The standards are, and I always, when I coach basketball, or I tell football teams or anybody, as long as you pass the walk-by test, you're going to be successful. So it's no different when we were at Nebraska and we were practicing in the stadium. And Sibley used to talk to me, used to come in on Wednesdays. When they walk past, like if you're walking from the north end to the south end to meet Coach Osborne to interview him after the practice, you knew exactly, didn't matter the numbers. You knew exactly what you were hearing. You knew exactly what if you were seeing, and you knew exactly what you would see come Saturday. That's where things, I think, when you think about the Go Big Red and all that stuff, right? And sure, it's a ton of money. Let's not even, no reason to pull punches. There's a lot of change. Change obviously affects a lot of people. People don't like change. I don't like change. Some people like change more than I do. But when you think about it, you have to really establish your standards. And once the standards are clear and executed, the expectations become a lot easier to deal with or meet.
Totally agree. Let me ask you this, though, because we'll obviously go back to the Frank Solich thing and Steve Peterson and Bill Callahan. What if it would have worked? What if Nebraska...
It wouldn't have been sustainable.
Well, hear me out. Coming off the run that you were a part of, parlaying that just a few years later into another national championship appearance. Nebraska was still in the limelight.
Yep.
In a big way.
Oh,
yeah, there were more TV, games
Networks,
being played, and the Big 12 wasn't the exact same as the Big 8, but Nebraska was still a top 5 brand in college football, top 5 destination probably in college football in a lot of ways. There's an argument, I don't know if I'm going to be the one to make it, but if Nebraska was ever going to pivot away from what made Nebraska successful, obviously it looks like a terrible decision in retrospect. And I've lent a lot of credence to what you're saying. The place and the team needs to represent the place and the people. And it's just in the blood somehow that's hard to explain, but it just works. I can be on board with all that. But if you're a top 5 brand and you're going to make that pivot, I think you were in some cases saying, hey, we are still big enough, we're still popular enough that we can be ahead of the curve we see where college football is going. We can still pull talent from anywhere. We're still recruiting here at home, but college football is heading X direction schematically. We're going to hire a coach that we think can get us there. And it's probably easier to do that and try to be ahead of the curve when you're in Nebraska spot as a top 5 brand, as opposed to where Nebraska is now. Because
Yeah.
now you're just trying to be a copycat, and you're never going to be able to do what Ohio State does as well as Ohio State does it.
Right. I think you just answered the question. It's great that you're at a position that you could pivot at that time or any time. But then I would ask, why would you? And here's the
it was a calculated risk, and it didn't work.
But why?
It was a gamble. You don't have to make it, but you did.
But why do you? Okay, that's like, okay, we talk about gambling with Brandon Sorsby and Steve Stevens, money management. If you walk into the casino with $100, you now have $10,000 off that 100, and you've done that over decades or visits. Let's just say that. Why would you, after you have a process, plan, and success, pivot to bluffing and going blind? Because when you change,
because it's not just about you.
It is, because you are the belle of the ball. Because everybody changed to what you were doing, you changed to what one person was doing. If everybody was pivoting to that,
that's the risk Nebraska made, is that more teams were pivoting away.
Right.
That was the counterpunch. So Nebraska said, okay, we have to get ahead of this.
But not a lot of teams pivoted to that, because you can't pivot.
But they ended up getting there.
You can't pivot to Reggie Bush, Lindell White, those dudes. You can't pivot to that. You can appreciate that, right? You can't pivot to that because there ain't many of them dudes walking around. That's why.
College schemes have clearly changed, though.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, is that more teams started
changed.
playing like USC and like Miami than played like Nebraska.
They changed. No, they do not. You know what the spread offense is? That's essentially the fullback out there in the slot. That's exactly what it is. So in theory, they found a way to do what Nebraska was doing because they didn't have the offensive linemen. That's where the spread offense came, because they didn't have the big linemen that were going to Michigan and Nebraska, Tennessee, and stuff. So they had the smaller ones, and so to be able to create angles, you had to really dictate the box and
space it out as opposed to condense it.
Now, granted, when you look at Florida when they were doing it, they had NFL talent, or they were superiorly talented. But then the flip side to it, once Oregon started to see Stanford, which was actually Nebraska with the fullback, 2 tight ends, 13 personnel, that stopped. Now you got to play football. People don't realize how physical, like the Alabama teams were, how Vince Young was able to be physical with their running attack. And then obviously when Ohio State has Ezekiel Elliott, they were physical. They made Alabama tap out, Oregon tap out. I think it's cyclical. It always comes back to the basics.
Sure. Yeah.
The standards.
Agree.
Once those are clear, expectations are just a couple days, a couple of weeks out of the year. Then you have to raise your level of standards if you're not meeting those on a consistent basis. That means through 3 or 4 years. Then you have to look at your standards, your process, and those are easy fixes when your standards aren't clear. So that's where I think for the fans, they need to really have a good look of standards versus going for a good time. And that's the difference. But you haven't experienced standards, so what do you go to? Good time.
Yeah.
Right? So anyway, we'll take a quick break, come back, put a bow on this Thursday. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, we'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Graham Tire presents life's greatest adventures.
Okay, buddy, here we go. Just keep your eye on the ball. All right, just swing right through it. Yeah, good job. Way to go. Hey, run it out. Okay.
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. And wow, what a great spring it has been here. We've had record sales happening at Koppel. And to show our appreciation, Koppel is giving out employee pricing on select new models. Yes, you heard that right. Employee pricing is happening right now at Koppel on select new models. So please stop on in the store and see the team or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Some rebates to dealer.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a slight chance of showers. Otherwise, partly sunny skies to be breezy. Behind your 62. Tonight, mainly clear skies and light winds, a low around 36. And tomorrow, some morning frost. Otherwise, mainly sunny skies, light breeze. Behind your 61. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flex for 93.7 Ticket and ticketfm.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more. Sandhills Global is growing right here in Lincoln. With our expanding campus and continued growth, we're hiring across a wide range of careers, from interns to experienced professionals. Join the team at Sandhills Global and build your career with competitive pay, great benefits, and real opportunities to grow. Visit sandhills.jobs to view openings and apply today. That's sandhills.jobs.
The University of Nebraska Rodeo Association excites to announce the 2026 Nebraska Cornhusker College Rodeo. Come on out to Sandhills Global Event Center May 1st and 2nd. Cheer on the University of Nebraska Rodeo team as they take on teams from all across the Great Plains region. Friday is college night, and Saturday afternoon, kids attend free with purchase of adult GA ticket at the door. Advance tickets on sale now at sandhillsglobaleventcenter.org. Don't miss the Nebraska Cornhusker College Rodeo, May 1st and 2nd.
Right now in Lincoln, neighbors are facing hunger and homelessness, and they need our help. Your donation to Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach for Give to Lincoln Day helps provide nutritious meals, safe shelter, and life-changing support. Your gift goes even further thanks to matching funds from the Lincoln Community Foundation. Working together, we can make our community stronger by ensuring that everyone has access to nutritious food and a safe place to sleep at night. Give to Matt Talbot today or anytime through May 28th at givetolincoln.com.
Looking for something fun tonight? Axe throwing, local beer, and great vibes are waiting at Arbor Axe House. From casual nights out to celebrations and team events, it all starts here. Reserve a lane today at arboraxe.com. Arbor Axe House at the corner of N Street and Antelope Valley.
Old School with Foreman and Orman.
Here's the question. How far up the list of all-time greats can Price Sandport climb? Can he be a top 10 Husker in just 2 years when it's all said and done?
Ooh, that'd be tough, man. You talking about some dudes, man.
Talking about some dudes, but he's one of them.
Top 15, maybe. Top 10 be hard. It'd be hard.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? We're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman, Old School. Quick segment here. Get back on track, though, but good talk there because a lot of stuff going on. A lot of moving pieces. There's going to be some dirt moving down there on the Huskers facility. So hadn't happened in a long time. I'm sure it'd be interesting to go back. Even, obviously, social media wasn't around, but back when they, first started making some changes. Now, granted, when they put the skyboxes in, everybody's excited about that, right? Because that was the thing you needed to do, and everybody's excited when they put in the jumbotrons. I think we were one of the first teams, and we had the entrance and all that. But now when you're trying to move some dirt, when the team is trying to get back up to the level that people want, it'd be interesting to see what it was like now or then versus now. So a lot of stuff going on. It's moving, nothing you can do. But look, these guys got big pressure on them, and then pressure is a privilege. Not it doesn't bust pipes. So you accept the privilege, and then you exceed it. So standards versus expectations is always something that's like talking to my kids,
right?
And they ain't trying to hear that either.
Hasn't soaked in yet.
Hey, so I guess
Not
my
about
delivery.
it.
I guess my delivery ain't good. You know what I'm saying? So
Maybe
anyway,
their listening's just bad.
Yeah, exactly. So there's not a lot of listening. They're doing a little bit of hearing. So appreciate you guys listening to us, and we both hear and listen to all your texts. Appreciate your support. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, Old School. We'll be back tomorrow. We got to get it. Hey, we got to get our little chump of the week, though, for being athletic chump of the week.
Ooh.
I got some. I got it. We might have to do 2.
Okay.
Yeah. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman, Old School. We'll holler at you tomorrow.
I'm Dr. Jeremy Hosine, candidate for the University of Nebraska Board of Regents. Husker athletics has never been stronger. Let's champion the same mindset across our entire university. Academic